pushes it over.
Do you guys need a minute? Grab some drinks and such?
No?
I've got my water, I've got my pizza Pringles, I am good to go.
I thought I heard Pringles. It sounded like somebody fishing around
Nip,
the can.
nip.
Nip, nip.
Okay, I got it.
About that spear, you had me doing 1d8 damage with it. If I two-handed, does it do a d10?
Goodness gracious. Yes, that would make sense. It's just a little longer than the average spear, you know?
Well, don't mind if I do.
The wizard's number of prepared spells is their level plus their intelligence modifier, right?
Yes.
I thought it was more than that.
Nope.
You learn 2 spells every level, plus 6 at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
But you can only prepare your wizard level plus intelligence mod.
That would be a hard playthrough to play like a 0 int wizard and just have like one prepped spell.
Oh yeah.
Tabunga?
Tabunga. Multicast.
Can I get another one of these?
Sure.
Ching, ching, ching.
Oh, dude, you should play a game of Dota with us sometime, Jimmy. They reworked Tabunga. Like, all his spells are more or less the same, except his ultimate, where it like double cast stuff and whatnot, now applies to items. So when you can use items, like one of them's called Midas, and it like basically eats a creep and gives you a ton of gold, and you can do that, and it'll multicast it 4 times. And you'll just you'll go to a creep camp and get what would be the equivalent of like a BF sword. If you get lucky. It's pretty magical.
But is he as magical as Bard?
I don't know.
Never.
I like that Bard ability where you can go through terrain and shit. I wish they had something like that in League.
You mean Dota?
Dota, sorry.
Yeah, it would be cool. Not like Kane, though, because his movement through terrain is gay.
Yeah, Kane's just gay in general.
Yup.
What do you think of Nexus Blitz?
What?
I don't think Illusion's played Nexus Splits.
Nope.
Ever since this Dota rework or patch or whatever that happened, all the Dota guys have just been like, only Dota.
It's a really fun patch. Is that the new Dominion? The new it's fast, it's fun, it's Dominion?
No, it's horrible.
You don't like the Nexus splits?
I played it like 2 years ago. It was bad then.
Uh-oh. Well,
It's
maybe
a
I'll come
little
back and play a
better.
game.
It's a completely different map now.
I played it when it first came out. Didn't like it. I don't know what it's like now.
Interesting to see them doing new modes. Well, we're all here, and food has been acquired, so we might as well kick off where we left. You guys good?
Worst.
Yeah.
How was the week, Illusion?
Well, hold on.
Oh, you bitch.
The week was good, yeah. I mean, mostly doing a ton of reading on shit and kind of prepping for a few things, and excited to have the final encounter and everything for you guys. So, but I haven't really done too much. Nothing super exciting. I think I might see a movie though in the coming weeks, which is weird.
What movie?
I don't go outside usually. Vice? Have you seen the trailer for Vice?
For Vice?
Yeah, we'll watch it during the break.
Oh,
or
we
something.
got
The one Christian Bale is Dick Cheney.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just something about it makes me giggle really hard. I really want to see it. And Donald Rumsfeld being played by Steve Carell, like I don't know, that's awesome. So we'll see.
Christian Bale's come a long way since his days of Gun Ninja.
What?
Gun Ninja?
Gun
That video
Ninja.
we watched.
I'm confused.
You already
Gun
forgot.
Kata.
Gun Kata.
Oh yeah, the Equilibrium is what it was called, I think. What a classic. Well, it's good to have you guys back for another game of Skyfall 5e, and we might as well kick off where you left, which was a teleportation episode into a strange forest, with you guys completely surrounded by what looks to be, like, boreal pine trees and whatnot. What do you guys want to do?
What about those two undead that wandered in front of us, Druid? Are they here?
Oh, they're just dead.
What two undead?
Those two ghouls.
When
you see no undead around.
When Merton first summoned the portal, there was like two undead wandering towards it, and they fell through, and then we ran and jumped in.
Dead AF.
No sight of them.
Oh goody, it looks like Tyrannus has brought us somewhere random again. With no direction.
Who? Oh right, Tyrannus, your dragon amigo.
Indeed.
Yup.
When will I get to meet this Tyrannus?
We
As
don't
you
really
say
know.
that, around the corner of a nearby tree, you see an object come into view. And it's not very far away, and in the middle of the daylight here, you guys can actually see what it is, and it looks like a large hovering eye. And when it comes around, you hear Tyrannus' voice that comes from it. And he sounds like he's actually pretty perturbed with you, Merton, as he calls out and says, "Random."
Random?
I believe he's referring to you calling it a random portal provided by Tyrannus.
The eye hovers closer and he says, "I'm not taking you somewhere random."
Well, we don't know where we are. Last time we didn't explain. Are you going to explain this time?
Ye of little faith. The eye kind of turns and looks at you and then stares at the rest of the group. And then, panning back, speaks to you, Merton, and says, "There have been some changes, I see."
Yeah, every so often, people die. Who's the same? It's only me and Zakul that's the same.
No, I'm the same.
The Father has also blessed me, I would also say.
I met him as Illyrio.
Ilyrio's still there.
Tyrannus?
Yes.
The ambulance got kind of compromised.
Oh yeah. I tried to tell you that, but I don't know if you can destroy those, but it doesn't really matter much now. We did make contact with another group.
Yeah.
They've
And they
fallen
ran
into
off
the
with
wrong
the first
hands.
The one we made contact with was good. I think we just went our separate ways, and we'll meet up for the final encounter. But before we lost our other amulet, it seemed the group had fallen into the wrong hands, despite our efforts to convince them otherwise. They were already a part of Celestine's force, it seemed.
Then I will destroy them.
The amulets or the people?
The amulets.
Oh, okay. Woo.
Why not both?
Well,
The other great souls may still be of use to us, especially given current circumstances.
Time seems to be going very quickly recently for us. Maybe
Yes.
a problem. How much longer do we have? We need... What's the day? What's our deadline, guys? The 100th of...
I honestly forgot.
The end of winter.
The end of this coming winter is when
Yes.
the ritual will take place.
We were out searching for power, but noticed some time was flying by. Do you know how much time we have?
Little at this point. You spent some time with other great souls, did you not?
Yes, we did. Does that affect the time significantly?
It seems to move and skip much more frequently when bunched together.
Oh.
And now, the enemy, which is mostly made of great souls, appears to be in the same spot as well.
we know what we have to do. We just have to be there at the right time and hope that we don't skip past it, basically. Although we're unsure of how much of a chance we stand at the fight. We simply have to give it our best. Are you aware of the up-and-comings, or do you need it explained?
There's a hearty laughter that comes through, and then after that, he turns over and says, I believe an introduction is in order. There are some of you that I have not met. Are they trustworthy, or just hired swords?
No, they're not hired. We fortuitously met them along the way. We've got another wizard, not exactly replacing Trent, but he seems like where Trent was more divination, this is a war mage. You can introduce yourself there. He was just asking to meet you.
Just give a slight bow towards the eye and name is Cyrus. It's nice to finally meet you, Master Tyrannus. Do I know about Tyrannus? Did we ever decide that? I think I asked about it once.
If you can't remember, then you can roll history now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my god.
What is it?
Wow. That's,
Well, it was a 20.
I think it's a 21.
Okay.
Now that no, sorry. I don't get... I just get plus... So that's 19.
19. Okay. I would say that the name sounds familiar, and the idea of a mythical dragon named Tyrannus definitely kind of occupies a back portion of your mind, but you can't really associate anything with him exactly, as far as what his powers were or his story. But he does pop up as like a historically significant figure.
Would I associate him with magic or arcane, or would that be more up to whether the allies told me about that or not?
I would say, yeah, you'd probably be able to associate him with that.
Okay. It's quite the pleasure to speak with you.
I would say they're trustworthy, and this is Nax. Nax, Tyrannus.
I'd like put up my hand to shake, but then I'd realize that it's just a big ass eye.
The eye looks at you for a brief moment and then turns its gaze elsewhere. Well,
Trustworthy or not, they've been assisting us, so we need all the help we can get.
the eye turns to face you for a moment there, Cyrus, and a brief emitting light comes from it and washes over your body. It feels almost tingly for a brief second. And then this turns and happens to you as well, Nax. And he says, "Your awe is appropriate, Cyrus. I've already spoken with some of your friends. Come. We should move through the forest now."
Was that directed at me? Some of my friends or some of our friends, like collective?
Tough to say. It is an eyeball after all, and it doesn't really give off a whole lot for interpretation beyond how the voice sounds.
I will follow.
Are you aware that we met one of the players in this gray, or at least a bystander, much like yourself?
The eye turns for a second and pauses in its tracks and says, "No. Who've you been
Called
speaking
himself-
with?"
He called himself the host and gave us the location of the final hideout, but he seemed to
Ritual.
think that we had no chance if we were to confront him now.
He gave Zakul that sword you see on his back. Says that's the key to stopping the ritual.
Right. He told me to cast this into wherever the ritual is being held. That would hopefully nullify it.
The eye
Seems that
hovers
not
over
all-
and looks intently at the sword, and then it turns towards you when you begin to speak, Merton.
Seems not all of the players on the other side are exactly unified. We've been multiple sources, one being one of them, and another being a summoned spirit, told us that they are fighting within each other, and it would be fairly easy to get them to turn on each other. An idea that we thought, if we could put into action, could work pretty well. We're just not exactly sure how to do that.
Perhaps. This could
Seems
be a
there
trick,
about-
of course.
Could be, but he had us in basically a vault underground. I feel like he could have just killed us. Unless they need some kind of sacrifice.
Did you feel certain that he held your doom?
We did have 9 Great Souls with us at the time. It would have been a difficult fight for any to have conquered us, especially well rested as we were.
Hard to say. He was simply a undead head sitting on a chair. I don't even think that was really him. Just the way he communicated. But keeping your identity secret in a situation like that is understandable.
This sword is very old. I'm not entirely sure of its powers.
Summons ice, we know that. Beyond that, we don't know what happens when we throw it in whatever this ritual is. Seems strange for him to reach out if he wasn't telling the truth, though.
We've also been made aware that there's some group or coalition watching us that seeks to aid us in some way. Or if not us, then at least some of our allies working towards the same goal.
On the wind ray.
One of our associates cornered one of them on the wind ray, and that's how we discovered their existence. He was following us and tailing us and observing.
And that led us to the host, or one of the players.
Possibly. Could have been someone from the same organization that gave me his address.
Oh, right, that was it. Table Talk, that was a separate drop. I forgot that was like a random note drop.
But we did, I think as a group, we all agreed it was probably the same group.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did at least help the other group gain power. We took down the Red Watchman, found some items there, bought a Sovereign Stone, used it on a construct. They should be a force to be reckoned with when the day comes.
I saw glimpses of them while you worked alongside. Powerful but misguided, I would say.
Indeed. A bit like us.
I hate to be forward, Tyrannus, but being his time is short, do you know if there's anywhere, or do you possess any storage of arcane ink? Is there anywhere nearby here where I could get some?
Your friends likely have supplies. They seem to have come prepared. They're just a bit further up ahead.
We have friends we're meeting up with right now?
Yes.
I kind of get excited now, thinking maybe he's talking about my friends. Probably step to the front of the group.
Well, let's continue then, Master Tyrannus. I don't think there's... if they're just ahead, then we'll see them soon enough.
The eye turns and hovers away.
Follow it.
Okay. Yep. As you guys follow, eventually there comes a point where the eye seems to pause. In a clearing here up ahead, where seemingly there is nothing, a moment later, something seems to turn, and you see a brief shimmering in the empty clearing there. Tyrannus has you stopped there at the edge of the trees, and he turns towards you and says, "You great souls have gathered a few friends along the way. Some of these I would even be willing to call enemies under the right circumstances, but for the purpose of this exercise, you may find them useful.
Exercise?
Very curious.
There's gradually a shimmer that starts to pull away, and you see a large dome that comes undone. And within the dome, there is an elaborate camp that has been set up, with tents and people walking to and fro. And immediately, already on the outskirts of the dome, is somebody familiar. And this person is known to both Cyrus and Illyria, as they're a native of Solsland. And you see Calgar, one of your fellow war mages from back in Solsland, who's approaching. And I would say that Calgar is a friend of the family for you as well, Illyria. And given your hitting upon war mages, maybe you guys have a history or something. You can come up with a way that you
I would like him
know
to be my ex-boyfriend. Thank you.
Oh god.
Sure, let's go with
Does
that.
that
Oh my
mean
God,
I've
yes.
been warned about you?
No, you haven't, because how would you know about me?
Because Calgar was in my group of mages?
Alright. Hope not. We'll
So,
see.
taking a step over towards the group here, you see him there in the standard, like, resplendent, sort of red and gold gilded robes, with a staff in his hand and a large ruby at its top. And he walks over towards you, and while he does, you can see behind him in the background what looks like different soldiers of weird dress. Like, some of them actually look familiar, and you think you see Inquisition members among them. But others are, like, completely foreign to you, and the uniforms that they wear make don't fall on any memory that you have.
Question, is Burton in disguise right now?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Oh
Oh
god.
no! Oh no! You're dead! I'm sorry,
They're
Murray.
friends.
We'll miss you.
I heard they were
They're
friends.
our friends, they're not your friends.
Oh.
We'll miss you, Martin. We'll miss you.
As I see him kind of approaching, I'll run up towards him. Calgar!
No.
He goes up to you and he gives you a hearty handshake, and he says,
Like a forearm shake?
exactly.
Oh no.
Nice.
The
Nice.
camera pans on your two beefy forearms. And he looks to you and he
Been some
says,
time, brother.
Cyrus, yes it has.
I'm sorry I had to leave you back some time ago, but I'm sure
Yeah.
you remember.
You said it was important. I assumed it wasn't just a little romp in the woods you were going for.
No, it's led me on quite the adventure, and well, it's good to see a friendly face after so much time on the road.
Yes, and he kind of pauses and looks over his shoulders, and he turns back and he says, the Inquisition thought you could use some help on this.
Well, given what we were facing down, any help would be definitely appreciated.
Okay. Now, while the two of you are speaking over there, back towards the rest of the group, the Eye of Tyrannus there kind of turns over towards you, and he says, "You may find him useful, though he's of middling power compared to my own."
It's not very useful.
The Eye turns
Oh.
and looks to face you, Illyria.
Sorry, Tyrannus.
How did this war mage from Solsland end up here? If, well, where's here, actually?
The Eye
Pretty
pans
close to
around.
the site.
Indeed.
Where the fuck?
The final fortress of the enemy is close. These woods, well, they've gone nameless for a long time, and for good reason. The gods cannot see in here, it seems. A perfect place for such a hidden fortress.
Indeed. So making our
And-
final preparations then. Are these lot, do they know the situation, or are they going to fight with us?
They know different amounts, but their allegiances are spread thin. I think that this mage that is rather friendly with your friend, he'll likely be coming with us. And I intend to join you on the front lines as well.
Oh
But
boy.
I don't think the others intend to come with. They're spoken for, other groups of great souls.
Well, it's much better than what we thought 10 minutes ago.
Back over there,
So-
speaking to you, Cyrus, Calgar continues, and he says, well, there's much to go over. I see you've brought some... And he's, like, looking over towards your group there, and then he pauses for a second. And then he kind of looks back at you, and he says some...
Allies, I think would be the correct term.
And, he looks like he's worried for a second. And your initial reaction to this is that he's seen Merton back there, and he's realized that you're traveling with an undead.
I know what it looks like, but when
Do my eyes deceive me?
When I encountered this group, they had just killed a group of hags.
Killed? Hags? And he's, like, looking over towards the group, and you guys can see that this guy that Cyrus is speaking with looks, like, rather distraught, and more specifically, Illyria, you can tell he's looking at you. You can't tell what he's talking about.
Now,
Merton,
you-
I don't think he likes undead, I whispered to him.
Yeah.
Well,
Merton,
let's go meet him. I'll go walk over.
No,
Do you
no,
remember-
no. No, Merton, come here.
do you remember a mage from the tower by the name of Trent?
I'm gonna make a luck
Trent
roll,
of
actually.
House Silvermail, I believe.
Oh no, he knows Trust. Oh no.
I can't say that
Yeah,
I do.
that's the only name. That's the only name that he would. Remember that big party that like destroyed a bunch of shit?
Yes. They don't
Yeah,
let us
the-
forget.
The mage responsible for that was with them. So, you know.
Troublemakers, I see.
But
Well, that makes more
they've
sense.
proven quite useful. And in the time that I've been with them, we've actually managed to accomplish quite a bit. We went to the Hells and escaped a demon prison and actually killed a number of their demonic guards, and the Dragonborn there, the golden one, he was at one point, I believe you were like more dull, right? Were you still gold, or what color
I
were
was
you?
still a gold one, I just wasn't shining. like
Literally
Lando.
glowing.
He was a little less radiant when I first met him, but we stole a hoard of treasure from the demons, and he offered it to Azun, his god, and well, this is the result. But his god came and destroyed the prison and set us free.
He looks like he's kind of, like, glazed over for a bit there while you're explaining this. And meanwhile, at the other group, has one of you actually broken away, or has Illyria managed to convince you to not walk over towards them?
I wanted to go meet this guy.
Yeah, I think we need to meet some of our
I
allies.
know
We're gonna be
him.
fighting with him.
He's not that. He's just a guy.
I'm walking
just a
over
guy.
to him.
No, I know
Right.
he's just
We
a guy.
just need to solve the problems he might have with Merton. Merton
What
is
I
problem?
started walking to him when I heard he didn't like me. Gotta fix that.
well, he's obviously giving strange looks over here. I think Merton.
Yeah,
has
we'll
caught
see
his
if he
attention.
keeps looking at Merton or he keeps looking at me.
The
Well,
eye
my
turns and
friend.
faces you all and says, I see you're suffering from mortal problems. I'll be going now. You can find
Okay,
me later in the
Darius.
camp.
See you on the front lines.
And the eye just kind of, like,
Just
hovers straight upwards.
Look
And
for the giant eye.
I'm still continuing my story with Calgar, and I'm just like, yeah, and then
he pauses you for a second and puts his hand up, and he goes, Cyrus, would you say that your group is equally capable?
I would say so. We just got back from clearing out the Red Watchman.
Just drop that bomb on him.
Yeah, I want to see his reaction.
He looks a little tight-lipped, and he actually pauses from looking at your group to stare at you for a second. And he says, sorry, what did you say?
We, as a group, traveled to the Red Watchman, broke through the seals of magic preventing entry, and journeyed up to the top level of the tower there, where
You
we
five.
fought off. We had 4 others with us that survived, but have since gone their separate ways. They had separate callings from us.
He shakes his head and he says, forgive me, I hope this doesn't threaten our friendship at all, Cyrus, but do you have proof of this?
I turn around and show him the arch magi cloak that I have around my shoulders, and then pull out the scroll from my inventory.
You flash a little. You like show the cloak there, which was like previously obscured by something you're wearing, and he just goes like. Well, Cyrus,
It shows a level 9 spell scroll.
Then I show him power word kill.
he looks at it and he says, "I've never seen this before."
I know. I didn't even know magic like this still existed in the realm.
Well, I think it's safe to say you've surpassed me.
Well, I mean, Calgar knows I'm a great soul, right? I would have had to tell that to my troop.
Yeah, I would say that he knows.
Well, I guess that's sort of what happens when you go around traveling with a group of great souls.
It's either that or you're gonna wind up dead. I'll take this, though. Forgive me, Cyrus, if, I act strangely. I'll try to take orders from your group as best I can, but I'm used to working on my own.
Of course. Here they come now. This is Merton. Merton, meet Calgar.
Well met, friend. Heard you'll be fighting with us on the front lines. Reach on a hand.
He gives you a nod, and he shakes your hand very cautiously.
So
likewise.
Did
That
Tyrannus bring you here? How do you all come to be in this forest?
No, though I've had a brief conversation with the Eye. And,
Well, I'm a follower of his. He's my patron.
He nods.
Good to have you. Step aside and let the others.
I'll step forward and hold on my hand. They call me
I will
Zakul,
slowly step
but
forward.
I'm a devout of Azud, but I am curious how this entire group has ended up here and was able to establish a fort like this.
Well, you'd have to ask the others. I didn't ask too much about when they got here or how, but it seems there's been a few interested groups. And, there's clearly some information that they have that I don't.
I mean, allies are always welcome. I was just curious how everyone has kind of stumbled on the same plot and have congregated here in such a short amount of time.
I'm just happy they're here. Is there somewhere to buy things? You guys have a shop set up, or?
There's no merchant here. Though you'll find some supplies. You may be able to talk your way into some.
There's definitely something I need.
Calgar.
Another chance to go shopping.
Ilaria.
I have been.
Good.
You guys
Yeah.
know each other?
Wait,
Oh.
wait. This is the
Cyrus
Aurelia?
My
The
tongue's
same... Oh, God.
Well, thanks, Calgar. What'd you tell him? You ruined everything else for me while you're at it?
So
I
cool,
didn't
I'm
tell him
gonna go see
anything
the
other than
shops.
what was true.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think I will also bow out at this point. It was a
have
pleasure to meet
real
you,
good
Calgar.
ways.
I'll make sure no one kills me while I'm shopping.
You guys need any help finding those shops?
You better
No,
stay
no,
right
no.
here, Cyrus.
Please
Oh,
be
you'll
a media-
fine.
Please
You'll
be a
fine.
mediator between the two, Cyrus.
I'll like grab an axe.
You like
You've such a-
quickly abandon our friend here.
You have a twisted idea of true.
Now, I have to ask, how did the relationship between the two of you guys fizzle out?
Doesn't seem very good.
Let me think of something really intricate really quick.
Sure. We'll pan to the people who are making their
Yeah.
way into the tents here.
She stopped texting her.
Hey, we'll talk. If anybody goes shopping, I need 9 vials of wizard ink.
He left my
Holy
sending
shit.
message on red.
No, probably.
It's
I
like,
would give you guys
I
the
think
1,000.
they're like- is it 50 gold each?
50 gold a level or something. Oh yeah, 50 gold. Is it?
So
ink?
it's only like 450 gold of ink.
I need a very strange item that they might not have, but I really need it.
Human
I would-
souls.
Take out the 1,000.
Can I have one soul, please?
Yeah.
I need an undead eyeball. I don't think anyone's gonna have that.
So I'm just going to draw a little bit of this in here. This sphere is a magical barrier that you guys can see, especially once you've passed through like its threshold. You can see it from the other end, how it's sort of like obscuring everything inside. And momentarily after entering into it, you can see what looks to be a wizard who's standing near the thing, and he makes a symbol of his hand, and the barrier seems to shift. And for anybody who's standing outside, it starts to like disappear again.
Does it need help?
I'm just gonna put some things in here.
I have an interesting story, Kay.
Send it to me. I need something fucking not stupid.
Okay,
Not stupid.
I'm gonna type it.
Elaborately ridiculous.
Did anybody stay outside of the barrier with Illyria and Calgar? Or did you
yeah,
guys
I think
all
I'm
dip?
staying there, right?
Okay, you guys can put
Well,
yourselves
it's-
where you want to be.
As the new squeeze, I think it's right. That you're
Yeah.
Oh God.
You gotta tell me what you heard.
So those of you who are
Sure.
headed in here, the three of you, as you walk in, you can see that there are a good number of Inquisition members around, and you can see their, their seals and everything on their armor, usually combined with wizarding robes and such. There's quite a few of them, and these would be considered like some of the special police of the world, at least in Soulsland, and
Oh, God, I fucking hate
would
you.
certainly frown upon any sort of crime or thievery or just generally being undead, though they seem to leave you be as you enter, though occasionally you get maybe like a sneer or a bad look. The others
That's okay.
are a little different, and I'll have the three of you make perception checks as you enter into here.
Ten.
Clan's got the eyes.
24.
10, 24, and 11.
11.
Okay. The members of the group here are split between what looks to be half Inquisition and the other half being weird members of other kind. The largest of the other groups looks to be people that are wandering around covered in tight-fitting robes. And by that I mean like they're kind of wrapped around them, more closely to what a mummy would look like than like the way a wizard would have flowing robes kind of hanging off of him. The robes are all very dark and only permit a small amount of vision as to who's wearing them, because there's like a slit around the eyes, and that's it. Like you can't really see anything else. And they have weapons on their backs and, like straight swords and things like that, and they're wandering to and fro. And let me see here. Somebody got a
What are those
24. There we go. Very good. You also see something else here. Having been an investigator in some of the different lands, Nax, you recognize a small group of knights that are familiar to you, and you know they're from the Aurelian Empire, like far down to the south, completely decked out in their plate armor with large swords. And you also spot what looks to be a good number of tents around. Some of them clearly set up for the different groups, but others with possibly different purposes. And occasionally you'll notice like a brief shimmering of like a magical energy from one of the tents or something like that.
Sorry, when you said that empire, do you mean like ours run the capital?
Yeah, those cities down there.
I just whispered to Zakul that there's a bunch of people from the capital here.
Clearly, many different factions have gathered
Yeah.
here.
That's good.
Curious if Tyrannus did not have a hand in this. Who organized all these people together? Brought them all here? Because if they already have all this together, then they must have a plan of attack.
We can go chat up some people. That's a big tent over there. I mean, is
Right,
there an
well-
obvious leader around? Perhaps
Doesn't
not.
look like it. In fact, if you had to guess, looking at the way the groups move around, and with the perception that you got, I'd say you can tell that the groups, while they're working together, they don't really answer to any higher power, and there's not a lot of camaraderie between them.
Right. It seems like there are many factions here, so there's some sort of coalition. But at the very least, whoever gathered them together brought them for a purpose. We need to find that person out, or seek that person out. If we're going to go shopping, we can start with them, since we're procuring supplies. And we might as well ask them how everyone happened to come here.
Merton,
I should have asked Tyrannus for something. There's something I want that I don't think anyone here is gonna have.
well, I'm just whispering to you, Merton. I'm just whispering and I'm pointing over at the guys wearing the black.
What about him?
They. I don't think they're human. They might have what you need.
The tight-fitting guys?
Would I know that to be from the City of the Dead, or... Sebas isn't the City of the Dead.
Or
Or
city of
am I
necromancer, so.
I would say that their dress is foreign to you, and you're not really sure where they're from.
Sure.
Are they more of my type in this tent city here? Max, is that what you're saying?
Talking undead. See if they know. You were talking to those ghouls. Well,
I wouldn't recommend that to strangers. Let's try to establish some rapport with someone on different terms first, before approaching random groups here.
I'll go talk. We can go ask them if there's any shops around. One of the wrapped up people.
Oh, I thought that's what, well, no shops, but I thought we were headed to the supply tents. Isn't that what these are?
I don't know. We need to ask someone because we haven't been here before.
Well, if it doesn't look so clear, then sure, let's ask them.
So, which group do you approach?
I want to
Use
flag
go to
down
speak
the
with?
tightly wrapped people just with just their eyes showing.
Sure. When you go and make a gesture, one of them steps over and looks at you. Yes.
Good day. We just arrived at camp here.
He gives you like a bow.
Do you well,
Can you
sorry, I'm
turn
not
the
aware
bow?
of where you're from. I'll do a bow back. Do you speak?
Yes.
Sorry. We're looking for some supplies. Is there any tents around here we can procure things? Spell components? Things like that?
He looks at you, and he says, "You're not one of ours. You'll have better luck elsewhere."
I don't think we're one of anyone's. We just, I think we're a entity of our own. Is everyone here working by themselves, or is this a unit? We're not really sure. We were just brought. We haven't been given the down low. Did you explain, or
All groups are here
everyone-
to destroy the fortress. We specifically are here to help a single group of great souls.
I think that's us.
No. He shakes his head and he says, "We've been given their description, and you are not they."
What group are you here to help? We are a group of great souls.
He looks at you and he says, "It would be difficult to describe them all to you. Nobles, some of them. Adventurers, others. But I can assure you that an undead and a dragonborn," kind of looks over at you, Nax, and then kind of looks back at the rest of you all and just says, "It is not you."
Do you mean to say every faction here is here to assist a group of great souls?
Yes.
And so there is someone here to assist us, but not you.
looks like. No, I think he's saying whoever brought them together might be that Great Soul group, or at least tasked them to help them.
Well, will we be seeing you on the front lines then?
Unlikely.
I see. Well, wish us luck. Sorry for disturbing you. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, he gives you a bow and turns away and disappears into one of the tents.
You know, you never asked him about the supply.
Well, he said they didn't have any for us.
Right.
I did.
So
I asked him if
let's-
they had stuff. He said no.
He probably wasn't him, because this is just a different part. Alright, let's approach it different. If I'm looking
Go.
around, does there seem to be that, the guys from the Empire, the one with the plate?
Yeah, you can see some nearby.
At the very least, we can identify those are from the Imperials down south. Should have some sort of supply tent or a
Perhaps
quartermaster. or
our people are the ones that, Illyria and Cyrus are talking to. That would make sense. I mean, I definitely don't have people, quote unquote.
Right.
So
The
no one.
Inquisition could be the ones that are here to help us. You can see more of them over there, and I look in the other direction with all the Eldritch Inquisition sign. Do we want to ask them instead?
Is that who the War Mage is with?
Right, those are the ones out of Soulsland that
Certainly. Let's go see them then.
Okay. You go to approach the next group. Now, meanwhile, outside of the barrier, have you guys figured out...
Yes.
Okay.
We're ready.
Tell me, Illyria, how did you and Calgar not work out?
Jimmy, take it away.
Wow. Wow.
So this is what I came up with. And,
Outsourcing.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lucian, but Calgar sounds like he's pretty independent and work-oriented
Mm-hmm.
as a guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In my mind, he would be the kind of mage who is constantly out adventuring and traveling, like doing work. So, given Illyria's personality, they're both very independent and like solo mindset kind of people, and I feel like their independencies would have clashed a lot.
Okay.
And in my mind, there's this one particular instance where Calgar had left town to go on some mission or another, and told Illyria to stay, and she said, "Fuck that, I'm going," and followed him out, and found his camp at night, and he got mad and told her to go back, and they had a big fight, and it culminated in him trying to use like charm person or hold person or something on her to stop her, and send her back to town. And that is the catalyst for why Illyria has like a shtick against people using against her friends using magic on her.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Thank you, Jimmy.
So,
Brilliant.
back over here, Calgar has his arms kind of crossed, and he says, "Okay, well, look. I'm here to do some work, and
Ooh, big surprise.
I'd rather just get this done and then go home, okay?"
Yeah, sure. Go home. Talk to my parents. Like, everything's fine.
He kind of, like, looks over at you, Cyrus, and he says, "I'm sorry you have to deal with this.
Deal with it. You're the one casting magic on people.
You were gonna hit me with a kettle."
Yeah, you're fine, aren't you?
Well, because I... Look,
Cause what?
That's so Illyria.
he puts his hands up and he says, "We don't need to talk about this again."
Yeah. Okay. Don't need to talk about, because that's what you do. You go away from things you should talk about. Mm-hmm.
I'll speak with you later, Cyrus. Illyria. And then he just poof and blinks away.
Oh, he's not learned any new trick because he uses that every time.
Well, aren't you
Don't even start with me, Cyrus.
holding a teleportation cape yourself?
Have I used it? And I
No,
just
I'm
got
just-
it. So you're pointing
I'm
fingers?
just-
I haven't even used it on you.
I was just
right.
saying,
I haven't even used it
it's
once.
a useful tool.
And? So why'd you bring it up? Okay, I see. You're just like Calgar. Okay, fine.
Okay, let's see if we can
You're
find...
lucky you're so handsome. I'm going back to the front. You can stay here with your boyfriend, whatever he is to you. I'm going to make my way back to the...
What? What?
Okay.
I just stand there stunned for a little
Treat
bit.
her like a whore and dimension door.
I was gonna dimension door. Okay, no, I'm just walking now.
Okay. You may have been intelligent enough to unravel magical mysteries, Cyrus, but some things are just too difficult to understand.
I don't think there's any cipher in the world that could decipher that one. I will stand here for a moment and then probably follow after her and try and find the rest of our group. See
Okay.
if they found any supplies.
So meanwhile, you guys make your way over towards the Inquisition group, which is this tent over here. And when you guys get over, the guy standing at the front of the tent walks up, and he says, "Greetings."
Well met, sir. Are you the faction here to assist Cyrus?
In Calgar, you met them outside.
Algar?
Not exactly. We did call upon the War Mage to assist you, but most of us are spoken for. We'll be working with a different group.
We're just trying to get the general lay of the land around this camp. Pretty new and don't exactly know what's going on.
Sure. That far tent over there belongs to the Knights, and they're not for you either. That tent is taken up by the War Mage, and seeing as how the Eye does not seem to need a tent, that might as well be yours.
Where is... Oh, so the Eye. You see him around? Where is he generally staying? Or does he just kind of come and go?
He makes himself known when he wishes to belittle us, and then disappears, it seems.
Sounds like him.
So spot on.
He kind of shrugs and he says, "I'd say more, but my superiors advise me against it."
Probably a good idea. Thank you for the information.
He gives you a nod.
No.
While this is happening, Illyria and Cyrus, you two make it back to the group as they're walking away from that tent.
Hi.
I'll be
So,
like laughing a little bit.
how's everything in here? Does it seem like these people are useful?
Quite the opposite. I think the only people that are going to help us are your friend, who... Where's he gone?
Calgar.
He blinks away. when he doesn't
He'll be
wanna
back.
talk.
And him and Tyrannus, I think, are our only friends here.
Right.
Oh, an overworked mage and an eyeball are our only ally.
I mean, there appear to be capable men here, but they are apparently spoken for by
Seems the other great souls will be coming. There may be even more groups we didn't know about, because all of these other tents are apparently here for another group. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
see
sure we
them.
were the only great souls in the world.
Perhaps we're just the first that's arrived, or they're skipping time or something right now.
I'm surprised Calgar came alone. I wonder where the rest of our troop is.
That's
Maybe
Calgar.
We
He
have
comes alone to everything.
we have Tyrannus. I think that's worth a lot.
Well, yes.
Really need to talk to him though.
He did say he'd find us in here. Maybe
Literally,
we should
the
head over
definition of
to
alone.
Calgar's tent and start unpacking.
Sure.
Consider me unpacked. Sure, let's go.
Seriously, I have like nothing.
Okay. You guys proceed towards the tent there, and before you can open up the tent flap, you hear what sounds like talk in there, and it's unmistakably Tyrannus, and he's speaking to Calgar, and he's just laughing to himself, and he's like, "Oh, the sins of the flesh. I remember those days." You stupid
Wait, is
fool.
Tyrannus all chummy with
Calgar?
Oh god.
the days
Oh
of
god.
we found the tent. Are we okay to come in?
Calgar calls
Wait,
out
what
and he
on
says, "Yes, you can come in."
Tyrannus, I need a word before you go.
Do you guys enter?
I'll step up
Yeah.
and
Yes,
hold the tent
I will go
open
in
for
there.
everyone.
So you guys make your way
Thank
into
you,
the tent
sire.
there.
You're so nice, unlike some people. Oh,
Oh,
wait, no, I'm
shit.
mad at you. Never mind. Going in.
I give like Cyrus a shrug as I walk by.
I will stand next to Zakul. I will leave Zakul.
Okay.
So, Tyrannus just recently had a bit of a more understanding. I think you gifted me some power, but one of the spells I had hoped to use for the final battle requires an undead eyeball. Those ghouls that came through the portal before us, did you destroy
Kill
them?
them.
Yes.
Is there anything left?
No, I did not think they would be useful.
Is there any undead around this area?
You'll find some in the
Right.
fortress
Wait,
itself.
did you just straight up kill the first thing that came through the portal?
Well, he knew it was an undead, and he just
Oh,
took
okay.
care of them for us.
I just wasn't sure.
I could tell that it wasn't your group, and dispatched with it.
Oh.
Remember that I've been watching you for some time in all of your fumblings about the world.
Oh.
I would not simply kill one of you on the way here. I'm sure some of you will die during this mission anyway. Better
Wow.
serve your use up there on the battlefield instead.
We
I remember that one, Tyrannus.
we have the ability to go meet the meat salesman, right? I'm just worried about getting back here.
Yeah.
We had some things we wanted to buy from him. Another member of the
Rainbow Gang.
brain, whatever we want to call them. One of the colored messages people who apparently is less on their side and more in the middle, who simply sells items. He had some things we were hoping to buy. Is our only mission here out to wait until the battle?
No.
When?
It seems
all
that
these-
the other groups wish to wait for their great souls. I have attempted
all-
to convince them to move as one, but it does not appear that's going to be what happens.
Let's see.
Oh.
But I wouldn't worry about it. The might of myself alone should be enough to conquer this fortress here, and with you at my side, we'll be able to cover much ground.
Does seem hopeful with you there. I'm very glad to hear that.
Somehow
If we-
predicted the battle to take 4 days.
Now, sadly, in this form, I will not be able to bring my full strength to bear. You may consider this a fraction of my power, but it shall be of use. And this mage as well will be coming with us, it seems.
Oh.
If we were to go to this salesman of sorts, we don't know where he's located. Is another portal back an option, or is that a one-time thing?
I can recall you here, if need be. You have my undivided attention for the next while.
All right.
Oh.
Well,
That's
we
good to
searched
know.
around this area and there was nothing really to cure, which we had hoped to do. We saved up some money.
Yes, the forest is desolate, purposefully so, and the others have brought what they need and little extra.
All right. Well, that seems good to me. I definitely need this item.
If you wish to leave, I can recall you. Simply make it known, and I will be watching.
Like, scream your name before we're about to die, or...
Oh, hold on.
That should be
I
sufficient.
think we just wanted
my
to
God.
convert some of our funds to war potential if possible.
Illyria, I actually need your help to craft this item.
Oh boy. Please don't tell me it's a
You have
piece
your
of
jeweler's kit, right?
jewelry. I sure do.
Then you will be one.
Last time I used that, I tried to make a ring for something.
All right. You got that the scroll. What was it? To get to this meat man.
Before we go, Calgar,
Yes.
did you bring any wizard's ink with you by any chance?
I always keep some on me.
9 vials?
Roll
Say
luck,
kind of-
please.
Oh, I
Well,
should
you
check
see
out
it here.
Happen
Tessa's
to have
diary.
10 miles right here.
It's an 11.
He says 9. Oh, the scroll. Well, I've brought a few. I have 5 on me. Sorry.
It's pretty
I might buy those if we can get some more from the from this vendor that we're traveling to, assuming you're willing to sell them.
That's perfectly fine.
I turn back to the group.
I walk up to the eye with the scroll and asks if he knows where it goes.
Make a luck roll,
Do you
please.
read all languages? Sorry, I would have asked Terrence if he read all if he could read all languages.
Roll the 12.
Okay. Well, I'm not entirely certain. Some mortal plane of little significance, I imagine.
I think we'll be alright if we go there.
Yeah. As long as one's with our voice.
Let's just hope the other groups aren't there buying something at the same time. That'd be awkward, wouldn't it?
Kinda.
Show up to the final battle wearing the same dress. You bitch.
You go there and Celestine's talking to him.
I feel like everybody would be pumped if we found Celestine.
Fucking beat on her the second we get there.
Already says Celestine is at the end game, right? The final fortress.
It's likely she's in there already. I can tell there are many great souls within the fortress. She's probably one of them.
She's the exact reason why I need this spell.
Could you guys imagine if she didn't beat on us when she first met us and let me keep that amulet?
Yeah, the hope of that
That would've helped a lot.
squashed very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, an amulet overall might have also been an easy way for her to keep tabs on us. We would not be able to trust it easily.
I guess that's true.
Well, does everyone have their money and stuff to buy? I don't think we'll be needing gold where we are going.
I gave Zakul my diamond, so no?
Is this tent protected?
The barrier is.
Very well.
Can Zakul even cross over with that weapon?
Well,
Zakul,
we
do you
could
want
leave it here.
to
He said it's some sort of mortal plane. But I could leave it right. I could leave it here if we're gonna return. Tyrannus has assured that we'll be able to be recalled here.
Do you have a weapon in the meantime, Zakul?
I do. I have my old warhammer. An ornate one that we found in Rigora's chamber. So I'll actually just like stab the sword into the ground here. Inside the tent.
Sure.
Alright, Nax, light us up.
I give it to Aurelia because I can't read it.
Right. I'll read it out loud. Forgot.
Okay. You take the scroll in hand, and a few moments later, with some magical words uttered, there's a warbling around your group, and then whoosh, a large flash, and all of you seem to disappear at that moment. Now, when you get your senses again, you're standing in what looks to be like a very large plain, and the first thing you notice, apart from the sights, is just how much like warmer it is here. It feels rather hot, and the plain that you're in is one of sort of like cracked ground with like grass that's grown golden with how heated it is, and it's kind of starting to wilt and everything. And you're standing in front of a single large structure. It's a massive set of like bleached white walls and a huge gate in front. And there doesn't appear to be anything else in any direction other than distant mountains and forests and whatnot. You're just out in front of a huge gate at the middle of nowhere.
Quite the man to know. Well, let's introduce ourselves. Or, I guess we can't knock at the gate. I'm sure he knows we're here. Maybe give him a minute.
After about
You-
10 seconds, I'll call out, "Hello?"
He did,
Alzheimer's.
or the host did say he's a friend of his, so perhaps we could use that as some sort of connection, if needed.
Something calls back. Hello!
See?
Hmm.
The gate begins to rumble, and soon the thing is swinging open. The massive,
Well done.
stone slab of the gate moves with such force that there must be huge machinery or spells behind the moving of this incredibly heavy object. And a bunch of people begin to produce out from the gate, and you can see that they are all humanoid, and indeed look human as well. But there's something wrong about them. There's something unsettling, and I'd like perception rolls from you all, please.
Oh boy.
They're simulacrum or homunculi.
Oh. Did not roll well.
I guess simulacrum would be the Warforged in this world, so that wouldn't make any sense.
Okay, so you guys are looking at these, and you can all tell that the humanoids that are coming towards you, it's not that they look like they're not human. Like, visually, it seems like everything is right, but the way that they walk is weird and kind of like mechanical and sort of staggers in an uncomfortable way, and all of their movements kind of put you guys on edge. Like, that's not how a person walks. Like, that, you know, it's everything about the way that they carry themselves is strange. And they come up to you guys, and one of them seems to step forward, and looks like a leader of theirs. The garb that they're wearing looks like that of human peasants, like just kind of greenish and brown cloth robes and such, and like basic tunics, that sort of thing. And one of them steps up, and he says, "Hello."
Good day.
I wish to shop.
Yes, we come looking for goods. Is this the right place?
"To trade."
Indeed.
"Yes, trade."
Yeah.
So,
Please lead on.
Are you the shopkeeper, or is there a master that you serve? Do we need to speak with him?
We, the host sends us.
He kind of turns and looks over towards the group, and he kind of turns back a moment later, and those of you who got above a 15 would have heard strange, like, sounds on the air for a brief moment. Like there was some sort of almost barely audible communication between him when he looked at the others, but you couldn't quite pick up what it was. And after that, he turns back towards you all, and he says, "What trade?"
Oh, well, I'm looking for an eyeball of an undead.
Weapons.
And a gem.
Meat?
Weapons. Weapons, yes. Spell components. Gems.
You bring meat.
We bring
What kind of meat are you looking
gold.
When you ask what kind, he says, "Delicious meat."
for?
No, we don't have meat in that regard.
Do you only trade in meat?
Meat is good for trade.
How about gold?
You can buy lots of meat with gold.
When you say that, he says, "Show me."
I'll pull out the entire brick of gold here, the gold bar.
I have 200 gold. I'll take out my bag and jinkle it.
Much gold.
Lots
Can buy
of meat
much
can be
meat.
bought with this.
Yes.
Gold can be exchanged for goods and services.
Okay, Lux.
He turns, and a moment later, the procession behind him, which has made its way back into the gate, kind of comes back. and they have with them what looks to be a culmination of like random items, just like weirdly gathered together, and interspersed with what looks to be items of like incredible value, you know, like swords that have gems upon them and that sort of thing. You also see very mundane things, like there's just an old rusty pickaxe here, for instance. And they sort of lay these all out on the ground in front of you with a huge blanket that they just kind of unroll there, and you can see all these items that are laid down there.
Do they have any wizard's ink?
Ah. Rummaging around in there, you do find some wizard's ink. And sure enough, there's a bunch of vials here.
How much? I'll hold one up.
He says, you trade.
Oh.
So cool. Can I have 200 of my gold back, please?
Sure.
I'll pull 4 vials aside and hold out 200 gold towards them and see if he accepts the trade.
He makes his way over towards you, walking in like a weird sort of staccato fashion and then bending down in a way that sort of betrays that perhaps his spine is not wired the same way you would expect it to be. And he makes a weird sort of seated gesture there in a squat that looks very uncomfortable, but doesn't seem to bother him at all. And down by the items that you're looking at there on the blanket, having grouped up the vials and putting forth the gold, he reaches for the pile, and he puts down what looks to be a potion bottle next to all the ink. And he says, trade.
Not the most sophisticated system they've got going on here.
Can I roll insight on that to see what he means by that?
You can roll insight, but you'll have to roll very high.
Looks like he's trying to barter with you.
It's just a 12.
Okay. You're not sure what's going on here, but he's put down a potion bottle next to the things that you want.
Can I take out?
And he didn't touch the gold that I held forward at all?
No, but he seems to be aware of it.
Can I take out my small? What's a small 50 gold emerald?
Sure.
I'll put it with Cyrus' stuff. Trade.
Yes.
Okay.
He reaches forward and he takes the gold and the gem and then hands you the potion and all of the vials that you've selected.
Thank you. I'll give it to Cyrus. Here.
Can I identify the potion?
Sure. Give me 2 seconds here.
I would just look at it first and see if I knew what it was, and then if I don't, then I'll roll, or I'll use identify spell. Because I do have it prepared today.
Okay. He hands you... It appears to be a potion of dark vision.
Ooh.
Sweet.
What else they got? They got an undead eyeball around here?
You know, Cyrus, you should look into seeing if we can buy a Supreme Mana Potion. Perhaps that spell will be useful if you're able to use it.
I'll start looking through the pile for,
You can use the scroll, right?
Can he?
Yeah.
I should be able to use the scroll.
You can use the scroll, yeah.
Anyone can use the scroll.
Okay.
It's just a matter of being able to use it again.
Now, the items laid down here are numerous, and there's quite a bit, and they're all rather random. There doesn't really look to be any sort of rhyme or reason to what's been placed down on the blanket. But if you guys are looking for anything in particular, you can let me know, and I'll tell you if it's there, of course, subject to a luck roll.
Zombie eyeball gem.
Okay, go ahead and roll there, Merton. Now, statistically speaking, Merton's luck rolls. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
They're really close to one.
There is indeed an undead eyeball here,
Oh my
and
God.
it seems like it's still attached. It's there's an
It's
undead
fresh, too.
severed head there.
That's exactly what I want.
Is there a plain, like, leather armor there?
Is there plain leather armor?
Yeah, because you said it's like I have ornate, and I was seeing if I could trade it in for that and something else.
Oh, yeah, you could
Yeah.
roll. It doesn't appear so.
Martin, did you find it?
I found it, but I
What
also
else do you
need
need?
a gem worth like 150, 200 gold. I need
Oh.
you to put the eyeball in the gem.
What?
Yep.
Wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
you want
It's
to
like an odd
squishy
request.
eyeball and put it in a gem?
The
Yeah.
fuck?
Like
Ew,
encase
what?
it in a gemstone.
Are you sure we don't need any amber for that? Just pushing the.
The item I need for the spell is an eyeball encased in a gem. An undead eyeball.
Why didn't you just roll for that item?
He did.
It was
How
uh,
would that be a fucking item?
He did roll for that.
You have to
He
make
said,
it.
Oh, I thought you wanted the two separate.
yeah.
Well, I figured there wouldn't be an actual item like that,
Hmm.
so I figured we would have to make it.
I have
Oh.
to ask, what is this spell for? What
It's
is
going
the
to give
spell?
me resistant to radiant damage, which I would like. It's a level 4 warlock spell.
Shadow of Moil.
Shadow of Moil.
Shadow of Moil. Interesting. It sounds like some new fandangled bullshit, which might explain why it wants an item that doesn't exist. But we can say for the sake of brevity here that you find that item there, and that you're lucky
Okay.
enough to find a gem that has that. However, what did you offer up for it?
200 gold.
200
Trade?
gold. Okay, roll luck.
Oh,
Okay.
"Oh my god!"
They accept the trade, and for 200, you're able to pick that up. One of them steps forward here, and from the back group, it looks like they try or mean to interest you in something here. And one of them shows you what looks to be a blue scarf.
Ooh.
ooh,
What's
I'll
it made
pull
of?
out.
pretty.
I'll pull out the icy hand key.
Oh, I'll pull out one too. I have one as well. You have the ring, don't you?
I have nothing else. to
No,
trade.
the ring got lost.
I still have one of these wooden capsules. Hand it over towards Cyrus.
Trade.
This one pauses for a moment, still holding the blue scarf. It looks to another here, and they seem to share some sort of communication there until turning back and saying, "Yes, trade."
I hold out the 2 keys and the capsule and take the blue scarf.
Very nice. You can add a blue
Hand it
scarf
to
to your
Illyria.
inventory.
Thanks! I'm going to wear it
Is it-
immediately.
Does it have anything magical about it at all?
This
No.
is the first time a guy's ever given me a scarf or anything.
Pretty blue scarf.
Thank you.
It really goes well with your hair.
The fuck was not to it not being magical. The fuck was to her saying it's the first time a guy gave me a scarf. As I realized the implications of what I just did.
You have to be careful, dude.
I accept.
You now
Better
look
be
like a
green.
flavor of ice cream that should not exist.
Oh, yes. Cotton candy. Bleach.
Do they have any spell scrolls here, Lucian?
I thought you were gonna say, do they have cotton candy ice cream in Canada? And then I was gonna reply yes, sadly. Sorry,
I wanted
what's...
to know that
Oh, what scroll?
too. Any kind of spell scrolls. Just
Oh.
anything to look through. Because
Yeah,
I
roll
probably have
luck.
to like unroll them and see if there's.
There's probably some here. Let's see what we
So
can
cool.
find.
What are you buying with that big ass gem
7.
Okay.
or your gold bar? Don't you have a,
It's planning to buy mana potions if they have them here.
what about a sovereign stone?
Ooh.
No,
can
I
we
was
look for
planning to
some?
buy mana potions.
No.
It appears that they have 2 spell scrolls. One is locate animals or plants, a classic. And
Classic. It should be in every wizard's repertoire.
yeah, exactly. And the other one is Crown of Madness.
Hmm.
I kind of want to Crown of Madness because it sounds fun, but I don't think I'm gonna.
You could cast on Illyria.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That's the play.
She will kill you.
Bonding moment with Calgar.
I'll look. Hearing Zakul mention mana potions, I'll look through and see if I see anything that looks like one of those.
I'll look for Sovereign Stones, I guess.
As terrifying as the. If you want to look for the mana potions, I'll look for Sovereign Stones. It's up to you.
Sure.
A luck roll each, please.
Can I be looking for any quality mana potion?
Sure.
Or do I have to specifically roll for a Supreme one too?
No, you can just say like a rough category is fine.
Yeah, Jim. Oh, boy.
17 on Sovereign Stone search.
Okay.
6 on mana potion.
Mana potions appears to be a bust. However, you do find that there is a Sovereign Stone available here, a single one within the blanket, and it is.
Do.
Would somebody roll a d20 for me?
Oh, do it.
If
Holy
it's one
shit.
that I've rolled a lot, then I might make you re-roll here, but
That's a 16.
16, okay.
That would have definitely been a 7, 3, or a 1.
Well, cool. That's only what they have out here. You could always say mana potion. They could probably find one. This guy
Yeah, just like he loves me.
probably has everything in existence.
So this might actually be familiar to some of you guys. It's a ruby that has been cut into the shape of a heart.
Oh, this was a good one.
Ooh.
And
This
when
is
you
a good
hold it
one.
close, you can see what looks like a globule of blood that floats around without gravity, just kind of bouncing within the gem.
It's the one Jacob got, right?
Indeed it was.
You found another Sovereign Stone there, Cyrus.
It did. Do we have anything to trade for it?
I have this gold bar and a diamond and this golden amulet.
Now, while you guys are doing this, you're kind of bunched around a blanket here, like there's an Indian Thanksgiving kind of thing happening, right? And during this time, a couple of the members have kind of moved to your side of the blanket, and they've kind of sat near Nax, it seems. And one of them walks over towards you, Cyrus, and kind of grabs a hold of your hand while you're holding the gem, and he says, "Trade?" And then while holding that with his free
Points at
hand, he then
Nax.
pokes at Nax.
No, not for trade. Not for trade.
Wait, what can we get for him?
No, hilarious.
What?
Shut
Oh,
up.
there.
Nax.
No.
It's up to Nax. Nax?
Nice. I think they're trying to buy you.
They want you.
One of them looks over and says, "Yes."
Delicious meat.
One of them nods, and
Oh my god, no, wait.
you hear weird noises, and when that happens, it's like the human mouth moves, but you hear like strange clicking sounds instead.
Oh no.
Is that
I'm
that, like,
just, I'm just thinking of the predator clicking right now.
is that like undead language thing?
Yeah,
that
it is.
Skeletons have?
Yeah, it's the Capri.
It may or may not be.
Wait, you want to eat him?
One of them looks over and says, "Yes, trade."
No.
No.
They kind of look at each other.
I'm curious to see what they want to trade, but not like we can accept.
You'd have to give us, like,
I think he was
Give
going
me
to give us
superior
the
mana
Sovereign
potion.
Stone.
Oh,
He
We can
pointed.
just-
He pulled at me while I was holding the Sovereign Stone. I
we
think.
can just bring a person and not trade for that? Wow, we should
oh
have
my
brought
god,
a
let's bring
person.
Calgor. Sorry.
I just stare at Ilaria.
Should have brought one of those Inquisition knights.
Honey, he's a jerk.
Honey,
Right.
Mm-hmm. He gave me a
I
scar.
gag a little bit.
One day, sorry, you'll
I didn't know you guys made that official.
Yep,
You didn't.
he gave me a
Well,
gold
Did
ring,
not.
and then gave me a scar,
Congratulations, you
and
two.
a silver bracelet. Thanks.
That's
first time I
not
didn't
how
have
this
to make
works.
jewelry.
It's not how any of this works, Illyria.
Yeah, it totally does. It is.
So cool, would you be willing to try and trade the gold bar for this sovereign stone?
I also have the diamond and the heart-shaped gold amulet. I'll pull all three items.
Wait,
I'll hold the
you can
gold
find
bar
something
first.
else.
Do you know what the stone does? Is it even a good one?
Oh shit, that's table talk.
I thought sovereign stones were worth like 2k.
I don't really
No.
know how much they
The
were.
one we bought before was like 900.
Yeah, but this isn't. This is not buying from a shop. This is a
Trading.
bartering.
Right.
Placing
Oh,
that
here,
down, he looks at the gold bar, and one of the people holds it up. And while you have the gem there, he takes it out of your hand, actually pretty quick. He's, these humans, weird as they are fast. And he kind of snatches it from you, and then he looks back and he says, "More."
I'll take out Tessa's book. It's magical if you can get it to work. And it's filled with stories. It
One of them
auto-records
takes the
things you
book.
do.
And he holds it and then kind of turns it upside down and lets like the pages kind of flicker, and it's like watching a monkey use tools for the first time kind of thing. It's like watching like kids use a toy that they've never seen before, and it's obvious that this book is an enigma to them.
It records things you tell it to record if you can get it to work.
I don't believe they can read, but perhaps the magic is attractive to them.
One of them puts the book back down and says, "No,"
What's
and
that
then
word?
points over at Nax and says, "This one?"
No.
No.
It turns back over towards the group and says, "Difficult trade."
Can I take out my crystal wand?
Hold on. Before that, what about the heart-shaped gold amulet from the city of Shep?
When you
Yeah,
put
for
that
that as
there, it looks at it, and then holding that and the bar in its hand says, "Better."
I have a crystal wand. Can I
You
take
took
it
the
out?
gem too.
When you put forth the wand, Illyria, it looks over and says, "Deal."
Sorry, do you have an extra focus I can use?
Is that not a magical wand?
No, it's just a crystal wand you found at Top Hat, dude.
Because everything was just ornate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need something to cast out of.
Did we grab that quarterstaff that I had crafted back there?
I
Oh,
thought you
fucking
took
hope
it.
so.
I'll hand her my the one that I made.
A handmade gift, thank you! I'm gonna snatch it immediately.
Illyria, +1.
Illyria liked that.
Somewhere Uchi feels a disturbance in the force. Probably Jacob, too.
I'll pocket the new sovereign stone
Okay.
and go back to looking through. I want to look for anything. Would I be aware of iron stones?
I'd say you probably would.
Can
Don't
I?
look just stay near Nax, by the way.
Can I just look through and see if they've got any iron stones in here?
Can we even
Sure.
afford another item at this point?
I don't know, but this is too much fun to not look.
What else do you have to trade?
I have nothing.
Oh my god.
What? We just
Wait,
used
you
all the
just-
stuff!
You gave him the gem and the gold bar?
No, we didn't give him the
He
1,000 gold
snatched
diamond.
the gem from your hand.
I thought he took
No,
the
no.
sovereign stone from me.
He
That
took
was
the
the
gold
50
bar.
gold gem.
He took the gold bar, the amulet, and the crystal wand.
He didn't
For
take
the-
the giant gem. that
Yeah.
you have.
Okay, well then the 1k gem is still here.
Can somebody roll a d12, please?
Oh shit.
Oh, I kind of want to.
Go
Do
ahead,
it, Jay. You
That's
rolled
a
good for the
barbarian
sovereign
dice.
stone.
Zion Stone is 4.
It's a 3! Please
Okay.
be cool.
You find what
Please don't
appears
kill
to
us.
be a pink ion stone, and I don't think that you'll know that right off the bat what it is, but you can roll Arcana to see if you're familiar with this one in particular.
Ooh, I want. Can any of us do it? Or just
Anyone who
Cyrus
has
without it?
Arcana.
Okay. Oh, it's a 19.
That's better.
Okay. You have a bit of knowledge when it comes to gems and some
pink.
magical ones included. And plus this one's pink. Obviously you would know about that. This is a Ion Stone of Leadership. And your charisma score increases by 2. So long as it's orbiting around you.
Pretty
Wait.
good.
Wait, Cyrus, give that to me!
Well, I think the trader still owns it.
I know, but I want to see it.
I'll pass
to a
it
max
over
of
to
20?
Illyria to look at it.
Yeah, it doesn't make it past 20.
So, do you guys know what this is? It's pink.
It floats around and gives some sort of magical ability.
It's an Ion
don't
Stone of
know what the-
Leadership.
Oh,
Yup.
that means you become more inspiring.
Yup. I mean, I wouldn't need it, of course, but, you know. If, one of you guys needed help.
Table talk, it's good for you as a sorcerer, wouldn't it?
20 charisma right now.
It can't push you over?
No.
No, it's only to a maximum of 20, unless this one is different in the
It might
Legion's
be
world.
it might be useful for Merton, question mark?
Oh, he's a warlock.
It's
Not
either
too much.
Merton or myself that I also use charisma, but yeah, Merton would be better.
I only use it for like persuasion checks and spell saves, which I don't really ever do. So
Bumping your charisma up is a cool, makes your
Aura
save
by
aura
one more.
better, right?
By 1, yeah.
in comparison, it's not
Plus,
very good.
plus
for
when
me.
you channel your divinity through your blade, that would go up
Oh,
too,
right.
right?
Another attack for that as well.
Yeah, that would be dope on some cool.
Yeah, it's basically like a cloak of fortitude or protection. A saving throw and 1 to attack rating.
What can we offer?
They are looking at Nax. One of them smells you.
No!
I mean-
Max, I think it might have been a mistake to bring you here. I'm sorry.
I really like that.
What about Trent's spellbook? Do you guys have
Um,
any attachment to that?
I mean, it's Trent.
I mean, that is the last thing we have of his, right?
I did trade his dank ass clothing, so
The greatest tragedy of all time. That was a fine suit.
Well, let's try with the gem first, and I'll hold out the large diamond.
What's the diamond worth?
1k.
A 1k diamond.
Yeah, it is. It is a dank ass diamond.
One of them reaches forward and grabs the thing, and I'd like a luck roll, please.
Could go wrong. Plenty can go wrong.
There were so many big numbers around that.
Holding the 2 stones in his hand, one of these strange humans kind of plays around with the 2 things and throws up the pink gem, and it starts to, hover around him. And then he throws up the other gem, and it just falls to the ground.
I
he
cringe
looks
a little
over.
bit at such an expensive diamond hitting the ground.
And he looks over at you and he says, "More."
Can I take out the bracelet of counter? I mean, the charters are used, but it's still bracelet of quote-unquote counter spell.
Ah, sure. A golden
This?
bracelet.
Is there a regular quarterstaff, by the way, Lucian?
I would say there's probably a
Fine.
regular one here.
Bracelet of counter spell?
Yeah, that we took from.
Yeah, I
Black
used the
River.
beads
You
already.
still have that?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any beads left.
Oh,
Alright.
Yeah, there's no counter spell.
they don't have to know that.
He looks at it and then says, "More."
I'll pick up the regular quarterstaff and I'll put it like next to the pink gem, and then I'll hold my quarterstaff next to the diamond. Trade? It's the ornate one from what's his name?
Top hat.
Read
Top
Gora.
hat. Reed Gora.
I dig through my bag and I pull out the lightning bullet. And I put that in his hand too.
Oh. Didn't even shoot the lightning bolt.
This item seems to fascinate it a great deal, and a bunch of these humans kind of crowd upon the bullet looking at it. And a
Sure
moment
not.
later, after a
Going
group
close
huddle, one of them kind of turns back and gives like a look over towards the one communicating with you, and then he says, "Yes."
Oh,
Well, good job.
well done.
Alright, so I'm swapping out my ornate quarterstaff for a regular one and passing the pink iron stone of leadership to Sakul.
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting it? Oh, okay.
This is
Oh,
like when
boy.
you just buff the shit out of one party member.
This is like when you
That's just
play
who it's
through.
most useful on.
You
Pretty
play.
much
You
what it's
play.
coming.
You play Pokemon and you beat every single person with one Pokemon.
Yeah.
You've
Yep.
got like a level 100 Charizard and then like a bunch of level 30s.
Everything else is just leveling vicariously for when Charizard isn't there.
Yep.
XP share.
Let's see.
Yeah, you just put an XP share on somebody. It's like, oh, here you go, Merton. You get a little bit of experience this
Unless you
fight.
want me to persuade the final encounter, I don't think that's good on me.
Better if
Suppose I'll have a
Sakul
spinning
persuades
around
him.
ready, but- I mean, you use spells to attack with too, but Okay.
I mean, not really. I use weapons.
I
I still
believe-
have 10 incense, unless we plan to use them.
Oh, we could trade those. Those are probably worth so much.
I held out the incense.
We're not going to
ones.
use them because we have nothing else to offer, but that would be amazing for this guy to have. We could get a lot for that. I bet.
Seance incense. They call spirits. Should be worth something. They're from the hags.
Is there anything I see that would raise my strength at all? Make me stronger? Like one of those headbands that
Yeah, you could roll luck.
Jesse had? Or maybe, I don't know if I know about gauntlets of ogre strength or giant strength or anything.
These belts of the hill giant. All of a sudden, he's like 22 strength.
It's 12.
The most that you find is that while scanning the items and using the occasional detect magic or inspection, you do find what looks to be a vial that has a little scribbling on it that says Potion of Strength, but that appears to be it. So if you wanted to be temporarily beef, you could pick that up.
As much
I'm
as I
fine.
love this spear, it's not the most, the best weapon for my playstyle. Is there like a dual wield set of swords? Maybe I could
Dual
trade
wield
this
set of
spear.
swords. I would say that you'd probably see a couple of short swords there.
They're just regular.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd way rather have the spear.
Is there any
Table
interest in
talk.
crossbow?
We could put the gem into a normal spear. I don't think we could
Table
put it-
talk. The gem would be bad in the spear. Well, no, you can put. Can you put sovereign stones in magic items?
You can put
Not
in
in your
anything
spear.
metal.
Oh, wait, what?
Anything metal, he said.
Oh, like into another magical item? No. It has to be mundane beforehand.
Yeah, I was saying.
Hold on,
we could put
Uchi
it
was
into the short
mundane?
swords.
Get fucked.
Don't tell him.
To suck, Uchi.
Basic bitch.
Do I see any magical swords laying around?
Magical swords. Roll luck.
Preferably short swords. For our magically.
Oh.
Oh, why? That's an 8.
It doesn't appear so.
Sorry, Will. I should have let you roll. I've been rolling well, though.
Who are we giving the sovereign stone? We bought that, right?
Yeah, I have it in my pocket right now, but I don't need it. Clearly.
Who
Should
needs to
go to
get
you
beefier?
if we can.
Well, my spear
It's
is
either
magic
you or
already,
Nat.
right?
Well, the Nax, maybe? Nax have a mundane dagger or short sword that he's using?
But I'm
Or even crossbow.
He's
Right.
ranged.
I know, but you can even empower a crossbow. I don't know what the Sovereign Stone does. You guys know the effect better than
I'd
me.
need a metal crossbow.
Put it on a
because
daggy
crossbows-
boy.
Daggy
Do you
boy.
still have Daggy Boy?
I don't think I had daggy boy.
Oh,
That's
what
a travesty.
yeah.
You
that is the
definitely
greatest.
You certainly lost one of the ending options by not bringing Daggy Boy to the final
I don't
mission.
remember where I put Daggy Boy.
That unlocks the true ending.
That's the
didn't roll
true.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
I
one
didn't
where you
roll
get
for it
best girl.
when
You
we
have to bring
lost.
Daggy Boy to the end.
When I lost all my items, I just assumed I lost that. But I guess I could roll for it to see if I have Daggy Boy.
Daggy Boy sitting on one of the claws.
Isn't it just like a normal dagger?
Yeah,
It was just a normal dagger.
I just
You'd have
deleted
it then.
from- Alright, well, I have Daggy Boy.
We can still
Can't
get
lose.
best ending.
But in order to get best ending, he has to kill the final boss with Daggy Boy. That's the catch.
You can only
Like
deal
an
damage
achievement
to
condition.
it.
Daggy Boy's true form comes out and turns into a dagger that does 1d4 plus
What?
1 damage.
Yeah, it turns into the dagger that killed Tyrannus. We had it the whole time.
Oh my god.
It turns into Blade of Woe from Oblivion or Skyrim. That little Dark Brotherhood dagger you get.
Well, if
I don't know what
if
that
you see
does.
a weapon that interests you, Merton, I still have the insight. We can
You
try
don't
to-
know what it does, Aleutian?
No.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, it puts drain life on someone, but it's like a really low amount.
Oh. I remember there was Mehrunes dagger or whatever. Mehrunes razor. That was amazing.
That thing was.
It's too
If you
OP.
got the, if you had the level 100 sneak and got 15 times damage from daggers, you just like walk up to someone and stab them with that, and they just explode.
Yeah.
What if I just grab one of these guys and go, magical scimitars?
Scimitars. Speaking their language, I see, Merton.
like I was like 10 when I started RuneScape, okay? I pronounced the C my whole life.
What was that other one? The other word you guys always like laugh about?
Chasm.
Chasm. Yep.
Chasm.
Chaotic.
The
Chaotic
chasm
chasm.
to the chasm.
When you say this to him, he looks at you and he says, "Trade?"
Yeah, I like put my spear out.
We're looking for a scimitar.
He grabs a hold of your spear there and he says, trade. And he kind of like brings it to the group and they look over the thing. And then they look through the pile of stuff and start suggesting things to you. One of them holds out what looks like it looks like
Nothing
a golden
here.
cape.
No, I need a weapon. I'd be without a weapon. Well, is the cape just that? A golden cape?
The Superman cape.
It
Become
appears to
Super-
shimmer, and you can tell just looking at it, it must have some sort of supernatural properties. He puts it on over his back for a moment here, and shows
Definitely
it
looks
off.
good. Dude,
Can I
Cyrus, do you
identify
know
it?
what that does?
Would you let me step up and identify it? Have they balked at me touching any of the stuff?
No,
Hey,
they
you-
seem to
you
be
got
pretty
touch
okay
my
with
spear, yeah.
I'll step over and identify the cape.
it. Sure.
I know what the cape is. It's in general here.
Uh-oh. Let me see
How do
this.
you already know? Oh.
Wow.
Flying across the battlefield.
You also grow a mustache. That's the real shtick.
Is that my new disguise self? Fucking Mario.
No, the cape allows you to cast a spell at will, so long as you are wearing the cape and are attuned to it, and that spell is Catnap.
Oh my god. That is the best fucking spell in the world.
What is cat? It doesn't sound like a combat spell. What is
No,
it?
it's amazing.
It gives you a 10-minute short rest for allies.
Oh, that's actually really good for warlocks, but probably not gonna be able to catnap in the middle of the battle.
You never know.
Is it good,
It's
Cyrus?
it basically lets you rest up shorter than you usually would be able to, without a full night's sleep.
I
That is
mean,
really good, but
if they don't have another weapon, perhaps you can ask for your spear back and try trading the incense for it.
okay.
I put the description of the spell in general.
I mean, those incense are pretty crazy. They call spirits to do your bidding. Trade. I'd kind of like take the spear back,
Okay.
put my hand on the spear, and like kind of take it away gently, but then put forward the incense.
One of them grabs a hold of it and kind of looks at the thing. He waves it in the air. Nothing seems to happen.
It calls spirits to do your bidding. This is
You have to
probably
burn one. Use fire.
maybe we should demonstrate one.
They seem like they're confused with the thing. Some of them wave it in the air. Another one like holds it close and looks at it an inch away from his eye.
Burn it, light
Sure,
it.
I'll burn one. Or I'll hold one or give one to his hand, and then I'll like light the end of the end in front of him.
Oh. Roll luck, please, to see what you summon.
Giant demon.
Do we have any more little gemstones that we can offer it?
Hopefully it's meat, because then that's something for trade. It summons meat, guys.
Sounds fucking neat.
Okay.
It's a $13.
The smoke begins to whirl, and then a moment later there's a flash, and you see what looks like a strange object that comes out of the smoke. And all of the humans are watching this and are pretty taken aback when a spectral hand appears, and a voice comes out and says, "What do you ask for?"
Do you have meat that these guys here would be able to partake?
What?
Meat.
They like meat.
They seem to be prone to halfling. Do you have any of that laying around?
Yeah.
I'm the hand of death, not some butcher.
Well,
Could you go kill someone and bring them to us? Doesn't really matter who. We'll pay you for it.
I
Yeah.
still have 100 gold and 200 silver here.
Name the mark, and I will tell you the
Oh.
price.
Oh crap, guys, think of a name real quick.
Think of a halfling.
Do I know any, like, drunks from Soulsland that, like...
Hey, how
Wow,
much for,
they just
how
confirmed
much
that now, Jimmy.
how much for Thundercock?
Oh, shit.
Can we say Chad Thundercock?
That's gonna be like
Thundercock.
fucking 10,000 gold.
Probably.
You could, yeah. Is that the name you put forward?
I'll just say the name. I want to see how much it costs.
Okay. Merton here seems to just say a joke name, and I'll have somebody roll luck, please.
Oh,
Martin.
this should be Martin long.
You said it's a joke name. That's his act. That's his like whole story.
Oh my god.
He's like, I
Oh.
hate that fucking guy. I'll do it for free.
50
Alicia's
gold.
like,
What?
50? Oh my
50.
god.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
have money. Please pay it.
The hand
I-
points at you with like a finger guns gesture and says, I shall have it done in a matter of days.
Oh my god. Mike, I did it. I
Oh
accomplished
my
my
God.
goal.
wait, is Burton just gonna, like, fade from existence?
I put my hands up and I'm like, my mission is complete.
Something strange is transpiring here. The humans are pretty transfixed by this as well.
I'm like, I'm crying. Tears
Oh,
of
right,
joy.
right. Yeah, see, incense. Very valuable. You get 9 more, though.
They look like they're still watching this spirit there and the strange dance moves that Merton's doing.
Can we give him Can we give the spirit 50 gold?
Do you
I
have
did.
50 gold?
I gave 50 gold.
Okay. The hand takes the 50 gold and then whoosh, makes like a fist gesture as all the coins disappear, and it says, "Thy will be done," and whoosh, the thing
That
vanishes.
was my life goal. That was my mission from the start.
Wow, Martin, that's so cool.
That's the whole
Over a
reason I
year.
set out.
Out of game over a year later. 50 gold and I'm done.
Oh my god.
As the thing vanishes there, and Merton is suddenly relieved of a great burden, we're gonna go to a brief 5-10 minute break.
Oh,
Congrats, Will!
nice!
I did it.
You did it!
We did it.
I mean, I hope there's something in the.
No more.
I just hope to hear something in the epilogue about that now.
I hope that this thing just fucking fails. I hope Thundercock just smites him.
Yeah.
Just stomps him.
Comes back
Just
like, whoo,
one
that
tap.
guy,
He comes back like, I spent your 50 gold trying to kill him, but yeah, he's a bit of a tougher cookie than I thought.
That guy's a real Chad.
You know what, I was gonna kill him, but it turns out he's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool.
So if you guys have more things that you want to trade and stuff, think of that. I'm gonna go refill my cup, and I'll be right back.
Fucking sword.
Table talk. Do you guys have more? Because I only have 50 gold, 57 gold.
I feel like they really like
I
these
have
incense.
42 gold, some manacles, a bag of ball
Is that
bearings,
Z, is that
a
with my
ornate
gold
crossbow.
included?
This is all the gold I have left on the character after we just spent on
Did you, at the beginning of the session, I tried to give you 270. Did you take that or no?
I did not.
Okay,
Oh, look.
so I still have 71 gold then.
Okay.
Wait, did you subtract 200 gold when I
I did
asked?
for the ink.
Okay, so then you still have your, because I had 271 and I'm down to 71 now.
Okay, so I have 257.
I have an ornate crossbow. That would have to be traded off for a regular crossbow.
I
What
mean,
would
I'm
that-
gonna be honest here. The ornate shield, ornate warhammer is there too, but if they
Yeah.
look snazzy like Cyrus's stuff, let's just roll with it. It's
If
like
there's some like,
messing with pennies at the moment.
if there's some like final boss that does like
That
all,
wears
like,
everything we
poison
gave it.
damage or something.
Oh.
Well, that heart thing, because we had that last time, session 1.
What was
I
it?
think
I don't know what it is.
It's like a dual gem. Like whoever you use it on, you guys get like teleported to another plane, and you like 1v1 until someone dies.
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
really cool.
It's like a compelled duel thing that like takes you to another.
Would
Plane.
would haste persist through that?
Wait, so you get a ability that allows you to do that, or
Yeah.
it's okay?
If there was like something that did like all poison damage in the final fight, or something like someone was really strong against.
Ugh, I gotta buy Mike's Christmas present now, Jimmy.
That would be nice for Merton to use. in
Compelled
that case.
duel the Lich with what's his name? What's it cool?
Well, I want to know if haste would
I
persist
feel like I
through
would
that, and
lose
then
to
I
a
could-
Lich in a 1v1.
Really? With your buffed saving throws and his low
Like-
health and undeadness, and you can.
I guess
smite
it
him?
depends on if it's like a legit CR20 Lich or one of these.
If you just power word
Kinda
kills,
weird.
you know, doesn't
One
really
of
matter.
these. Oh fuck! I keep dying.
He's got to get Z's health below, what is it, 100 before you can do that?
So he doesn't have.
I don't even have 100 health.
Oh,
I have
God.
68.
Oh yeah. Nope.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I don't think any of us can really like 1v1 any of these colored guys.
No, we can't. That's the only bad thing about it.
We didn't try it on armor, though.
Oh, this was on a weapon?
Yeah, we put the compelled duel thing on his battle axe or hammer or whatever he had.
Oh, is it different depending on what you put it on?
Oh, we
Yeah.
could put it on Cyrus's armor. He has metal armor.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
it'll
I'm
be-
already pretty buffed up with the cloak and stuff.
Well, I don't unless he allows it to be on adamantium armor, but I think that's
Oh.
considered metal.
Oh yeah.
You just see
Yours
OP,
is just ornate plate armor.
we just see BP again and slap it on him.
He's not mundane anymore.
Yeah, he's already magical.
It's like
now.
trying to eat 2 devil fruits in one.
Well, no, he asked if he could combine another stone with the current one, like on him,
Oh, really?
and
See,
I think he was allowed to.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
talk. If we put the stone in my armor and it gives the compelled duel thing, I'm fucked. I can't 1v1 anybody. I do AoE and I counter spell.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Although I do have a pretty dope ass save now. People have to roll 18s to beat my save, and I get a +10 to spell attacks.
Jesus.
I mean, I also have normal compelled duel as part of like my always ready spell for my devotion thing. I don't know.
I still have the bullet of blinding.
When you guys made it sound like it was super good, like double cast, dual cast, I remember some sort of effect like that was happening to. Or was that Will is like breaking spells, getting like
That was
special
Will
effects?
breaking.
Mm-hmm.
That was Will becoming a what were they called?
Will stepped away.
There was some word for the wizards that could do that.
Interesting.
Why the hell is tea so expensive, Jimmy?
Because it's hipster.
I should have just got him a gift card from David's Tea at the mall.
People are willing to pay more.
The town I live in had one of those in the mall, and then they shut down, and then they reopened 2 months later.
I love David's Tea.
Well, that's the thing, is they put everything on blowout, sold it all super cheap,
Fuck.
put it down, and then someone rented it. Then they rented it back again 2 months later after dropping all their stuff like 80% off. Didn't make any sense at all.
There was a store that was getting pretty popular not too long ago. T-Box. It's like all over the place.
What, Tivana, you said?
Mhm.
They closed down.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen too many of them.
Well, recently, because I was trying to find a freaking gift card from them to give to this guy for Christmas.
Wait, like the entire franchise
Yeah.
is closed down, or just the couple that are around?
Every Tivana I looked up was completely closed.
Oh. They were getting pretty big. That's surprising. There must have been something that happened.
Someone else could have just bought them out.
No, like I meant like a scandal or something of some sort. Some outrage.
This is Tivana permanently closed for at least all within my 20-mile radius.
So the only things that my character even has that's worth anything, the bullet of
Your
blood.
body?
Besides that. Hey, if we want to go to Hillcrest, there's tons of halflings out there. That's like where the most the halflings are in the game, are outside of Hillcrest.
Yeah.
They don't even live inside the walls. They live outside the walls and farms. So you can just run up to a farmhouse and steal a bunch in a bag and then teleport out.
I'm not sure if you guys really care, but I just looked at the Tivana thing. Apparently Starbucks bought them out, which is why they were opening chains everywhere. And then the guy Simon Mills sued Starbucks over Tivana closures as they started closing and just selling their products directly out of Starbucks. And then that led to all 379 Tivana stores being closed. But by 2000, Starbucks shut them down after buying the company up.
Oh shit.
Hostile
But
takeover.
they still sell Tivana stuff?
Some, I guess. But that's probably just to get rid of what they already have.
Oh.
They bought the company up for $620 million and then just
I was
closed
gonna
all
take
of
a trip to Starbucks tomorrow and see.
And say,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
Starbucks, because that's what they do. Is Starbucks would have the product.
I
Interesting.
missed what you said. I'm sorry. What did you say, Clint?
Said Starbucks would have the product. No.
There's another tea company, Tazo. Tazo.
Oh, Starbucks sells a lot of their stuff.
Starbucks sold Tazo to another company.
Oh, so it does.
Vic.
All over.
The only other things I have that would they might want to buy is my nightshade poison and bullet of blinding.
Oh. Those could be useful. You never know, poison might be good.
That yellow cape would be really good. It's like a warlock cape.
You all
Yeah, that's
laughed
like
at
a
the
perfect
cape.
order. No, I
No,
think it's the best
it's
one.
really good.
You only
That
laugh.
was hilarious. Will, what was the kind of mage that you turned into in Skyfall 1 called?
A fractal mage.
Fractal, thank you.
Yeah, when you guys started talking, well, when you said dual, I was thinking DU like AL, and I was like, oh, does he do the fractal casting stuff? And he's like, no, you go into another dimension. I was like, oh, that sounds far less useful. Given that these things we're fighting are just gonna destroy you in a 1v1.
Yeah, we don't want to 1v1 these things.
Welcome back, Illusion. I think, shopping wise, just Nax wanted some poison goods.
No, that's what I have to sell, to trade.
Oh. You have nitrate?
Yes.
Let's see.
He's a good, honest investigator.
So after seeing the incense, do they want to trade those for the cloak? Cape?
Cloak of the Catnap.
Whoops.
We even did a demonstration for that.
Yeah. It's pretty that was a pretty worthwhile demonstration. Who knew it was only going to cost 50 gold in the end?
Illusion.
It's like when you dedicate your life to something and then it's like the easiest thing ever.
I mean, other than the cape, I guess we could still look for other weapons for you. Whether it be short swords.
I don't know if they
even
have
a
like
dagger.
more inside or like
True.
I tried saying like sword or like cape.
Scimitar.
Skimmy. Give me a D simmy.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Do you have any rune skimmies?
Rune skimmies?
I'm sorry.
Buying rune skimmy, 10k. It's too close to home.
You're not even too close. You're in the house.
Actually, I don't know what a rune simmy goes for these days.
Don't know.
I was so proud
Well,
when I
it's
got
like
my full set of rune.
I'm an Iron Man. I don't buy shit.
And I remember, because the only shop you could get skimitars at was in,
Alcaraz.
in the desert, where they have the fucking best music ever.
Petition to get some music from Alcaraz in Skyfall.
Twitch would just flag me instantly.
I doubt they would. People play RuneScape on Twitch.
Yeah. It's weird the way they do it. They'll remove portions of the recording when just the music's playing, but then they'll leave the other parts where you're talking over it because their algorithm doesn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Alright. I am ready spaghetti, if you guys are.
Spaghetti night?
No.
Oh no, not spaghetti night. It's my one true weakness.
It's almost like all the odds are stacked in your favor.
Wow, you guys really did your work on this one.
Goblins did
Count a
9/11.
spell? Oh no, count a spell.
That was literally like 9/11.
Oh god, you guys were really prepared.
Okay, that settles it. I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Oh, I
There we
figured
go.
out what that voice is from.
This
Have
is
you ever
from-
seen Eight
Bob's
Crazy
Burger.
Nights?
Oh, that as well.
The Adam Sandler Hanukkah movie?
Yes.
It's the little trainer, the little gym coach trainer or
Whitey.
whatever. Whitey, yeah, that's the
Adam
voice.
Sandler voiced him.
Yeah,
That's where Clanran lost another layer of his happiness. He's like, yeah. Is that question?
Fucking 8 crazy nights.
Very nice. Very nice.
So, trade?
What are you offering them?
The
Incense.
9 incense that are remaining. And for the, what was it, a scimitar?
No, for the cloak, wasn't it?
Oh, no,
I
for
don't
the
know
cloak.
if we want to offer all
Yeah,
of them
I'm
for
sorry.
the cloak.
The cloak of the, catnap thing.
I was gonna say, like, they have a scimitar? The fuck?
They talk amongst themselves, and then one of them turns back, and holding the cloak in hand, he says, "Trade."
Yeah,
Trade.
it's a
Let's
good
just-
deal for them.
Let's just go with it. I at this point, I kind of want to get done with the shopping.
I just don't know what else we're gonna do.
Get you
tonight.
a weapon if possible, and then move on.
So, Will, you can now add a golden cape.
of catnap.
Good catnap cape.
It's a cape of restful sleeps.
Restful sleeps, plural.
Well, it applies to not just you, but up to 3 willing creatures, so it wouldn't be
course.
a restful sleep, right?
Indeed. Okay, well, I mean, I don't see any scimitars or short swords around, so
Can I look for daggers, Evolution?
For daggers.
Like magical daggers?
You can roll luck.
Oh, magical.
Will, do you
dagger
want to do
bolt.
this?
I guess.
It would be for you.
But he used the 20 already.
Oh, I was gonna say I just already rolled a 20. That was close though.
There's a dagger,
Alright.
but not a magical one.
That's just a regular dagger.
Mm-hmm.
It's no daggy boy.
Well, I got him right here.
I'd look around to see if there's any other crossbows. Let's see.
There would be a regular crossbow here.
Any other type of crossbow or just regular?
Sure, good roll luck.
No Evelyn.
There's a really shitty one.
There's a light crossbow here, that's about it.
That's what I use.
There's no Evelyn here, Elution?
No.
Special crossbow with 3 bolts.
None of that shit.
Well, have we spent everything? Zakul seems like he wants to hit the road.
I mean, wait, actually, are there health potions here? Healing potion?
Oh, roll luck.
Try to.
What if I just say to the person, mana potion?
You guys tried that already.
Yeah, they don't respond well to vocal commands.
19.
There are healing potions here.
How
and-
many can we buy with the amount of money we have? If we're all leaving.
Well, it's tough to say. How much do you want to offer up for one?
For one, is there only one sitting there?
Nope, there's a bundle of 4 of them that are all tied together with a rope.
I guess I'll offer 250 gold.
When you offer this up, one of them taps on your head and then says, "Trade?"
My helmet.
And he kind of holds up the potions like he's going to trade you the potions for your helm.
I cannot give this helmet away. This is a gift from my god. It would be heresy to do so. How about I pull out another 200 silver, so it's like 2 bags of coin now. 250 gold, 200 silver.
Sneaky boy.
One of them in the back says, "Buy meat," and then the other one kind of turns back to you and says, "Trade," and then offers this up for the coin.
Okay. 4 healing potions.
They are
Buy
2d4 plus 2.
Alright.
Shall I call our ride?
Yep.
Do I see any rings?
Oh,
Oh, could roll luck.
Oh baby.
Yeah, I just pretty much spent every coin that I had. So
That's a
I
2.
really don't need to
maybe
use
there's an onion ring.
it.
There's a lone onion ring.
It's dried up.
How does it look?
It looks like it's been caught under a car seat for years.
Okay, Tyrannus, I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
I'll give you 5 silver if you eat that.
You call out, and a moment later, there's a flash, and you guys are gone back into the tent.
Well, that was interesting.
Strange
Should've brought some
creatures.
They were. Should have brought
Very
some
strange.
halflings.
You should have seen them under the disguise.
What? What were they?
Something definitely did seem off
Is
about
that
that.
why they move so awkwardly?
They were
Beasts of
definitely
another
wrong.
world, surely.
Is the sword still there?
The sword is still there.
I'll retrieve the greatsword.
So, I just realized we probably didn't save enough money to buy these files from Calvin.
Wait, you didn't pay Calgar?
What?
No, I didn't pay him before we left. I have
Calvin-
71 gold. How much do
Calgar,
you
why
guys
don't
have?
you take it from my family at home next time we go back?
I'm not just gonna give him 200 gold because...
Do you think I want to go and speak with your family?
They love you. They love you more than me. That's the worst part. Just tell them I owe you.
Make a
Your family
persuasion
is-
roll, please.
Wait. What's my persuasion? Oh, it's only +5. Fuck. Okay.
+5 is a lot.
It's
your
shitty
proficiency?
fucking buzz.
Just +5.
Oh,
Oh my
That's
god.
funny.
You know you're late in the game when you scoff at a +5.
That's 20 illusion.
Oh, a 25. Boo.
He gives you a sigh of resignation. He says, "Alright, fine. Here, you probably need these more than I do, Cyrus." And he hands you the 4 vials.
Don't give my dad any ideas.
5,
We're
sorry.
never getting back together.
What did you say?
Jeez.
But don't give my
He's
dad any
giving me
ideas.
potions!
We're never getting back together. That's
Said
after
don't-
he hands them to you.
Said
After he
don't
hands them
give
to you.
my dad any ideas. We're never getting back together.
He says, "Don't worry, I think I'm done with dating for a while."
Yeah, go figure.
Oh
What
no,
the
you've
hell
turned into
happened,
men.
really?
I'm not surprised he is.
Merton, you want to try that, that cloak out? I kind of do
Snap my,
50
I
eyes.
snap my fingers and I look at
I will
Cyrus
cross
and
our arms
both
as fast as
fall
you
asleep.
really. My family
No, I
just
don't
paid
wanna
for
go to
your
sleep.
fucking ink.
I'm giving out his Illyria. I need
I'm
to
gonna
spend
like they just paid.
9
for it.
hours or something ridiculous copying a spell.
Oh. The Eye of Tyrannus got way cooler.
I know it's so much more fancy.
Okay.
That eye really upgraded since we left.
Is there any particular day we're to attack Master Tyrannus or Calgar? I mean, we do need to rest here. We were just in combat before we arrived here.
Well, I've spoken with some of the others, and they said that another group of Great Souls is coming by with a map, but they were supposed to be here a long time ago, so they're worried something may have happened. We can move pretty much any time.
Are you guys unaware where the enemy fortress is, or is this a map for tactical reasons?
Tyrannus continues, and he says, "I've seen it with my eye. There's a fortress atop a hill, just further from here."
Okay. So we all know where it is.
Yes.
The map is for planning.
Their fortress is a large, star-shaped thing. There are armies that guard it.
So are we going in waves? I guess that's what I am wondering. If it seems like we're not all going together from this encampment, are the first few groups that go just fodder?
We would be lucky to have all the Great Souls in one time. Chances are that they'll be split up. How they want to approach it is up to them. I would suggest that running directly at them may be a poor choice, unless we want to use a show of force.
Unless we're the last group or unless we all go together, I don't think that's an option. But how else can we do it if they're as together as it seems in a fortress? They wouldn't just come fight us one at a time.
You've spent more time dealing with them than anybody else. Surely you can formulate a plan.
You said you've seen the fortress. Could you describe this to us?
Yes. It's a six-pointed star. And, I can kind of give you guys, like, a brief picture.
Lucian artwork.
Yeah. Look out.
Oh, he's drawing the star. I was gonna
That's-
draw like a mountain fortress.
Doo-doo-doo. So that's basically what you're dealing with. So it's a fortress like that with star-shaped walls, and there are numerous, let's see here, buildings that can be seen, like rising from its center. But that's the basic layout, and so that thing is up on a hill.
And what sort of fortifications do they have on the wall? Are there people patrolling? Spells? Wards?
I've seen siege engines, casters even. There's no shortage of protection.
You said an elevated fort on a wall, a fortress on a wall, or on a even. It's walled and surrounded by guards is not something we can just attack openly.
It
Well,
appears,
it's a good thing we have a few days, because about it.
from what I've seen, the majority of those patrolling the grounds are lesser demons. Creatures your group could take in waves, but there are surely more dangerous things lurking within. I sense a great power beyond the walls, and the siege weapons on top are also concerning. I need not remind you that while I have brought much of my power, this vessel is not invincible.
We could make a series of small attacks, just prodding,
Prod their
That-
defenses.
really engaging. They're siege weapons. Those are like cannons and whatnot on top of the tower.
Yes. I've seen cannon and ballista alike.
It would be potentially possible to do some flyovers, or I don't know how well the ones inside are paying attention.
Yes, I've prepared a flying spell if we need it.
I have one as well.
Well, if you can fly all of us in, sneaking in and trying to disrupt the ritual before they even know we're there may be the preferable. If our job is to get to the actual ritual room and cast the final frost into it, then we need to be able to do that without the help of the others if they're all coming days after our attack.
Perhaps we should do a flyover out just to get a better view. Although they might know we're there. They seem very talented in the ways of divination and detection magic. I don't know how well we could even scout the place if we leave this forest.
Well, if we had a distraction of some sort, like this would have been perfect for Sir BP to be here. Bombard the walls, create a diversion. Is there anything else you guys can think of to create a similar diversion while a few people just do scouting, flying overhead to get a better view and an idea of where we can go or approach this?
Wouldn't mind killing a few demons if that's a distraction.
We have to make sure that we're not pinned down or forced into a prolonged. Nax, how far can your crossbow shoot? Or what's the longest range spell that you, Illyria, I'm saying Merton as I say you, or Cyrus had?
Shooting wise,
I think
Actually-
my longest range is 120 feet.
I think mine's 120 as well.
You know, this spear would actually be very good at doing a flyover job. I can just call it back and keep throwing it down. It's the weapon I've tied to Tyrannus, so I can just recall it back to me after I throw it. And the magic of it is it splits apart into more, so that would just rain down spears upon their top forces.
That could be the diversion we need in order to go in together. Whether it's inserting us while you make that diversion and then you meeting up with us, rather
Could
than
do
just
that.
scouting separately. I was thinking if we had a diversion, so the wall guards are not looking to the skies, you would be able to fly over and see. But if you're going to attack from the air and bombard them with a rain of spears, then we should use that as our chance to go in. Make for the ritual room or wherever we think they're congregating their power.
That seems like a good plan. For once, they could focus their fire on me. Which,
Well, you'll have to be careful that Celestine doesn't find you up there. She was extremely fast.
well, that is why I just bought that item. It's for her. So she won't be as effective on me if I have that.
I now die in 2 hits.
Yeah, I can take more than one hit now.
I still don't think she's someone you can handle alone.
Definitely not alone, but I could last a few
A
seconds.
whole 12 seconds.
I have tricks up my sleeve.
Right.
Like my die move.
I have a couple die moves.
Okay.
Don't kill me. Motherfucker, no.
You cannot kill me, motherfucker. Ding ding.
Well,
Yeah, she would
Anyone
certainly come
else?
up there. That's definitely a worry.
Calgar, Cyrus, any input? You two are more experienced and more.
Or
Illyria, you may be someone who thinks outside the box as well. Perhaps you have a suggestion.
oh, killing them?
Well,
I mean,
they
honestly,
obviously hold a tactical advantage over us. Something outside of the norm may
I just
aid
tell
us
you,
in
or tell,
what we're doing.
or just do what you guys tell me normally. And I just, hope you don't die when I heal you.
We could certainly attack with a bombardment. Between me and Cyrus, there'd be a great deal we could do to the walls, but perhaps not enough to actually sunder them. We'll be out in
If
the
we
open.
want-
I've seen the drawings of the hill as well. It's just an open space. And the shape of the fort makes it difficult to address as well. They'll be able to fire on us from almost any side.
See. Do we have... So if we don't know where we can enter normally, unless we can all fly in together, even if we have a diversion, we don't want to go by ground, climbing up an open field, charging demons on a fortified wall that we would then have to climb while being attacked from all sides. If Tyrannus or Master Tyrannus is able to provide us with flight to at least enter together, and Merton is willing to do the diversion, do you think this is the plan?
I brought purely destructive capabilities with me this time.
Oh,
Though you need not waste any flight on me.
Oh, what if Tyrannus and I just flew outside and did that? The rest of you went in.
we're just running up the hill, charging, and
I
then
don't-
climbing the wall?
You have no way of inserting yourself sneakily.
Oh.
I guess I don't know how distracting we'll be out there. If they'll send everyone or just a few, or they may just retreat if we're high up in the skies and they have no means of attacking us.
Well,
Right.
the garrisons are heavy. I think they keep upwards of 50 troops on the walls at any given time, from what we've seen. So there'll be no shortage of return fire. You may be outgunned.
Do we know where that group of great souls was last seen with the map?
I suspect the Inquisition has an idea, though they're loath to tell us too much.
You said you brought destruction. If we destroy their guns up top, what do they have left? How quickly could you destroy all their guns? If we flew over and we both rained down upon them, they might not be able to react in time.
I'm not certain how many weapons they've brought. Dozens, I would imagine. We'd have to destroy them individually.
These ballistae, can they be turned to the skies to try to shoot you down?
I imagine.
This could be very well a dangerous plan for the two of you, even if you think you're in the safety of the skies. If dozens and dozens of men are shooting, one or two are bound to land.
What if they can't see us?
Oh, are you suggesting a nighttime attack?
I can make one of you invisible, though I can't do it for both of you.
If it's at night, what do they happen to see up in the skies? Surely we'd be able to see them on the ground. They'd be firing at nothingness.
I think ideally, if we're going to make the trip on the ground and try to insert ourselves quietly, then the invisibility might have to be within our group.
There exists another plan as well. If we simply bide our time, another one of the groups will crash against the fortress and draw attention.
They were here to talk to.
I guess. Oh wait,
Obviously.
tabletop, is that the other groups or is that NPC group he's talking about?
Table talk, you don't know.
Obviously, all attacking at once is the best, but we're kind of assuming that's not going to happen.
Right. I thought logistically we were attacking in waves for that reason, but it would make more sense for all of us to attack at the same time.
If we have a way to take out the guns, but still stay alive, it would certainly help the other groups. That's why I think it should be done in multiple attacks, not just one. Whittle down their fortress.
Well, I already see a problem with that. Rigora has a seemingly endless supply of demons you can summon, especially lower level ones. You could probably remand the walls if we take too long in between each attack. If we are committing ourselves to this frontal, or not frontal assault, but attack to try to disable all their guns and then get back, and that might be our only role in the entire.
Well, are there any
campaign.
caves going under the fortress? Search that option. Seems
search
like
for that.
over is not safe. What's going on underneath? If anything.
We would have to survey the hill in person, unless Master Tyrannus knows anymore.
I've seen no caves here, though there may be something. An underground approach could be useful.
Earlier I was asking if you would be able to fly the rest of us in, Master Tyrannus. Or will we have to confront the guards that are on the wall?
I brought no such magic, save than that for myself. And Calgar puts up his hand and he says, I can bring some of you, but I don't think I can fly the entire group.
How far are we talking about?
Is the thing pretty much in the wide open? There's no forest around it. It's kind of like a mad dash.
Yes,
Oh,
and up a hill at that.
And up a hill.
I could take one person with my cape. But depending how far.
Well, I would assume it's at least a couple 100 feet just to get to the edge of the wall.
Yeah.
Climbing it is a whole other deal.
Try and find spell.
Difficult.
Oh, 500.
I don't think there is an idea that can be perfectly planned and executed without more information. If anything, those scouting runs that you suggested earlier, that might be a necessity.
Illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Back in what is the back in Soulsland, sorry, I was struggling there.
Yeah.
I'm sure as a war mage we knew a lot of people involved in like military and guards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know anybody who is like a tactician?
You might know a tactician. Sure. Make a luck roll for me.
Sure.
Nat 20, he's here.
He happened to be visiting.
He came along with Calgar. I completely forgot to mention.
Oh no,
What about a now one?
He's dead.
he died unfortunately yesterday.
You knew one, he had a stroke.
He was not a very good
Oh, wow.
tactician. He lost every battle.
I mean, we know we have to make a plan. Can't just rely on a roll.
Well, yes, but I was going to use sending to see if I could get some advice.
We just have to think. We
Like I
definitely might need to scout.
Right. We have too limited information to be able to make a solid, concrete plan here. Should at least get a view of the fortress, maybe even look for an underground cave or some passage under. If we can't, then an aerial scouting mission. Or even
Wow.
just judging distances to be able to measure our options might be what we need.
Why don't we go tomorrow on a scout?
Everyone okay with that?
You could do that.
Now, if stealth is the name of this game for scouting and you all think you'll be okay, would you be fine with me being nearby but apart from the expedition?
Right. I don't think we're
Oh,
we're
yeah.
actually approaching the walls themselves. We should. We're looking around the area first, and if a patrol meets us at that point, then we'll confront them. We're not making-
Because
Yeah.
I need about a day to copy down the spell.
Stealth will be less important than being scryed on, I think. Because we're not going
Oh.
to be close enough where someone's going to hear us or
I mean, we
Yes.
can wait here until you're done copying and getting the full rest here for
what
ourselves.
spell are you copying?
That
Those
scroll
power-
that I picked up in the Red Watchman.
So
It's
that's
going to
more
take
of
me
a
about
personal
a whole day.
a personal quest then, because you won't be able to cast that after you copy it, right?
He wanted to copy it in case he had to use the scroll to cast, because the scroll would then be
Because he doesn't
Yeah.
want to lose it, right? But I understand. I'm just saying it's like
How far are we from the fortress? From here, is this miles travel? Days?
No, it's maybe about half a day away. few hours on foot through the forest. Patrols come through, but it's rare that they come this way.
Does Rigora have an unlimited supply of demons in his back? Because if that's true, that would...
He
Be
was
pretty
summoning them with
awful.
lightning bolts.
Most of our sightings have been of demonic creatures, so that would make sense.
No power is unlimited, surely.
Right, but if they're lesser demons, he probably could gather a large number of them, more than we could easily.
Bulk barn demons.
Even if he has like 20 of them, it would be a problem for our group just by sheer numbers that we would have to do.
Well, it's like you said, I guess we need to just go see. We'll do that tomorrow. Cyrus, if you don't want to come, we don't want to fight anyway, so it's probably not an issue.
Set
Just
to
looking
ensure
at-
that we all come back after. And we'll meet up with you and finalize our plan.
I'm not saying by any means that I am opposed to going if you'd rather me be there. I'm just saying that this scroll needs to be copied before I'm going to be willing to use it other than last resort.
So you're assuming you're going to live through this battle if you're making plans for afterwards.
We're all going to live through this battle, right?
It's a fool who plans to lose fight.
Well, I think we could try surveying this. Be safe, come back, finalize what we're going to do. Table talk, this is not our last session, right? We still have like another one or two.
We still need to actually fight, so yeah.
Yeah, we have like the 7th, right? In January, that's our next and last.
Table
Unless we
talk,
can
it looks
pick another
like
day.
we'll be playing on the 31st of this month, and then the 7th of the next,
Oh.
and potentially
I
the
thought we were
I can't
canceling
do
the 31st.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can cancel
Yeah.
that. So the 7th and the 14th of January.
Okay. We have 2 sessions after this one. Okay.
And if we really are, like, unable to box things into 2 sessions, we can always see if people can just meet on, you know, like a Friday or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, rest up, then we'll head out tomorrow morning to get a lay of the land, so to speak.
Okay. You guys make yourselves comfortable here in the tent and go about getting some sleep. And
I'm gonna stay up through the night copying the spell.
okay.
Don't forget your long rest.
Does anyone have a injury?
Did I heal on mine?
I'm
Cleared
healed.
mine. Tyrus
Yeah,
and I
I'm
both
healed.
cleared mine.
Okay, nice. You guys get through the night without consequence. Nothing comes to attack you, and the barrier seems to do what it's meant to do. When you wake the next day, Cyrus, you've copied the spell down.
Alright.
Alright, you guys ready to head
Am
out?
I exhausted?
Yeah, make for me a Constitution saving throw.
Is it cool? You are. Oh my god!
Okay.
Spell is exciting.
You're good. You know, you're like a little bit tired, but the prospects of what you're going to be up to today, after having just finished copying down one of the most legendary spells of all time into your book, you know, you're pretty pumped. So,
Okay.
sleep be damned. You're going to be feeling pretty good today anyway.
Good news, everyone. I'm gonna be coming along.
Oh?
Stayed up and
Yeah, we know you.
burned the night oil.
Are you
So
going to
to
be
speak.
okay without
Seriously.
regaining any of your spells or magical energies?
I didn't really do much yesterday other than a couple identifies.
Okay.
And fighting all those ghouls.
Don't worry, I'll keep you safe, Cyrus.
Guess you did
Oh,
not
shit.
use too much of yourself on the ghouls.
Okay, so table talk. I had taken the long rest before when I was
Oh.
leveling up. and I have no idea what spells I had used.
Use identify.
Yeah, I don't think we got a long rest in between.
No, we didn't.
Well, I asked Aleutian, should I assume that we're going to get a long rest, and he said it was safe to go ahead and do that.
Then you stayed up all night, you fool.
Haha!
So I will take away the spell from my spell book if you'd like me to, but I don't know how many spells I expended in that
Don't
fight.
cast any spells today.
Just don't cast any spells.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't cast any spells.
I'm pretty sure, thinking back, I had at least
Let's
one or
you
two.
used
You
fabricate.
can think about it on the way.
we'll just trust
Use
you, Jimmy.
fabricate.
You got it.
Yeah,
Because
you
I see
probably
the quarter
didn't
staff.
expend everything.
I don't think I expended much. I'm just going to take a couple away from
Yeah.
everything.
Sure. Yeah, take like one
Yeah.
off each.
You did your storm sphere.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it's the next day here, and things are lively in the camp. You can see people kind of going about their routines. There's intermingling between a couple of members that are chit-chatting and whatnot. And you guys have a plan. Are you headed out?
Yes.
Okay. When you go to leave, one of the Inquisition members stops you guys before you leave. He runs up, seeing you headed for the barrier. And he says, "Oh, are you guys headed off there?"
Going on a scouting mission to get some more information before we do anything too rash.
All right.
Unless you're willing to share some of your own intel, but we've been only told the bare minimum since we've been here.
Well, we're still waiting on our friends right now. Just don't make... If you're actually going into the fortress, tell us before you do, okay?
We do not plan on doing that right now.
Okay. Yeah, it
We
gives you
haven't
an
quite
obvious...
thought of a plan.
Should we expect you back at a time? We can go and try and find you if you're gone too long.
It's
No,
half a
just
day
assume
there,
we
we
did.
heard, and a half a day back. So if not by tomorrow, then definitely something happened.
Okay.
But we are great souls after all, so on
Yep.
Far
second
more
thought,
time than that.
You
can
never
pass.
know. I would stay here.
Right. Okay, well, good luck. And with that, he
Thank you.
runs off, and you guys step out of the barrier. Back into the woods, things are calm and quiet here. The woods are with only small sounds from distant birds and things like that, and the occasional insect.
Well, which way then?
Oh, it's this way. Here, follow me. And Calgar kind of leads you guys off.
Guess.
Calgar, will you be all right if we, disappear? You'll know the way back.
Yeah, I'll make my way back instead of waiting up. Now, while you guys are traveling here, I would like somebody to please make a luck roll.
Plan ran.
Are you sure?
We've already called your name.
You generally roll well, but I
Yeah.
just said that, so
Higher on average usually.
Usually, once you stay, I do
We can just
well,
blame
I
Will. You jinxed him.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's my fault.
I'd like a bundle of perception rolls, please.
Bundle of perception. Veritable faggot of perception.
Mm-hmm.
Aha.
A wild Golok appears.
Super. Oh,
Why
fuck
do
that.
Hope they'll appear.
I got a pretty good perception.
He does like to roam forests around.
Yeah.
Not 20.
Oh, okay, mine's not that good.
You're the one he wants to eat, so
Nat 20.
Your meat senses
A
are
natty
tingling.
daddy.
Oh.
Somebody wants to eat me.
You're traveling through the woods here, and before anybody else, Nax, you hear what sounds like something off in the distance. You don't see it, but you hear what's unmistakably a footstep, and you know that your group must not be alone.
Just whisper to the close. I just like. See, that's the thing is my character wouldn't be first in the marching order, probably.
You'd probably be with me if Zakul and them were
might not be first in the order, but you were the first to hear or see whatever.
To try and get your attention, I just tap on someone's, well, not shoulder, probably shin.
Hip.
Well,
I-
who's that someone?
Whoever the closest person to me would be.
Which
Make it up because we
Pick
don't
one.
know.
just pick one. Her Martin.
Tell him
Good
I'm here.
afternoon.
I'm
Can I
here.
help you?
There's footsteps.
I love talking to Martin.
There's footsteps ahead.
Ahead. Footsteps. Guys,
Like multiple people.
hold up. Hold.
Stop.
They pause. The eye turns and looks at you.
Max here says he senses a presence, heard a footstep.
Oh, quiet down, everybody.
up
Off the road.
yonder.
Off the road, then. Or wherever we are. Are we on a road, or are we just walking through the
No, you're just walking through the
I
woods.
would like the
Woods.
guidance myself.
behind some trees? Then
Actually, I'd like the guidance Cyrus.
stay close. Don't go too far.
I pull up the hood on my cloak.
Did
Guidance.
anyone
Calgar
else?
ducks behind a tree nearby.
I don't
Anyone-
know. Fine.
Anyone else see anything strange?
I'd like you guys to all roll stealth.
Shaking my head, but I also don't know where we're heading from yet.
Do I have a
Fuck! Wait, no, I hate this fucking wall. It's not my time.
I put my hood up, so I have advantage.
Maybe I should have guidance myself.
I'm not very quiet. Sorry, fella.
I'm seeing a couple of
I slip behind a tree, I guess.
stealth ruiners here.
I tackled the tree with my metallic body.
Get down, tree.
Okay.
Just hear a
Holy
tree
shit.
fall over. Oh,
I have a fucking +6 to stealth too. This is so sad.
timber?
Off in the distance, you guys hear it, and sure enough, what Nax had called out begins to turn to reality as the sound of footsteps coming towards you all gets closer and closer. But the footsteps are strange and definitely don't sound like human footsteps. They're too weighty, and they hit the ground with too much gravitas to possibly just be some random explorer wandering through the woods. And as they're getting closer towards you, you guys see what looks like a large shape moving in between the trees, maybe about 200 feet away.
Since I want to see what it is, I want to start stealthing closer to it.
Unless I made an unbelievably loud noise, I'm still believing I'm quiet, so I'll just stay
Yeah.
put for now.
Sure. Make a perception roll, Merton, as you peek out and look at the thing.
15.
15. Down the way, the thing is a hulking beast of some kind, maybe about 8 feet tall. It has a hunched over sort of posture, and its head is a long sort of almost lizard-like bundle of teeth. And it has long arms that end in scything talons for fingers, and it's sort of like clawed feet dig into the ground as it makes its steps, and it looks more beast than it does like a humanoid that could possibly talk or anything like that. And as it steps up towards you guys a bit, it momentarily kind of curves around a tree as though to kind of hide itself, and then sniffs in your group's direction.
Wait, how close is it now?
Maybe about
Still about
160.
Okay.
So I'll say to everyone, not too quiet. I think it already saw us. Seems like a creature of the forest, not a guard or a
Interesting.
circling party or anything like that.
You sure?
Some large lizard-like thing.
Right. It could still try to feed on halflings or something, so we should avoid it.
It may try to attack, but I don't think it's anything we're after. Just be ready for it.
Can we go around it?
We can try and create a noise that would lead in a different direction, but it would have to get pretty close to us.
We Should maybe try to scare it off.
At this point, the thing seems to take a couple of steps out from behind the tree, and it moves and takes like a very quick dash over towards another one in your group's direction, and hides behind that, looking at you all. When it stands up tall behind these boreal trees, it almost kind of vanishes there.
Oh, it's got some pretty good camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it thinks it's hidden. We should let it know that it's not. I'll just like shoot a blast at the tree it's behind.
Oh, okay. An Eldritch Blast?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
I don't want to hit it. I want to hit the tree.
Okay. So you hit the tree. Roll intimidation.
Oh.
Roar, Morton. Roar.
A minor illusion lion's roar to help him out?
22.
Okay.
Pretty good roar.
You blast a portion of the tree right next to where you'd imagine the creature's head would be, and after you do, the thing jumps back out of the tree and leaps to another one further away. It momentarily looks over and stares at you guys, or in your group's rough direction, and then turn and just runs off.
Now we can go the same direction.
It's good that you scared the critter off, but it could come back later.
Ooh, what if it brings friends?
You just have to
Probably
let it
take
know
that
that
meat to those weirdos.
Oh. I just remembered dealing with high press beasts with Trent in the past. We never really did see a full grown one, didn't we?
you think that was
No.
one.
Can I make a nature check or something?
Sure.
Yeah, would
Does it
I have
look
seen
like-
it enough to see? And make
You
a
could
check?
roll nature.
No matter. At least it knows its camouflage doesn't really work against us. Maybe
It's just an 11.
You'd know that that wasn't a Hyprex beast. At like a glance, you could, kind of mistake it for being one of the larger ones, but once you see kind of how scaly it is and just the way it's put together, you know it's not.
No, I guess it wasn't. But some other lizard then.
I don't question our ability to fight it. It was simply our, time is short. Didn't want to. If more come back, then that's their
Right.
downfall.
I was just worried about a herd of them coming. I just remember being chased by many high press beasts.
Trent was always so scared of those when we read about him.
I think most
not the
casters
same
are
people
supposed to
we
be
were
scared of
then.
that malaria.
Well, Calgart, are we still going the right way?
Yeah, it's just further up ahead here.
All right. Next, good ears or eyes or however you saw that thing.
Yeah, seriously, good.
Strange static.
That's his response.
That wasn't
Oh,
even
was that
me.
Nexus?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh,
I think that was Jimmy.
I heard
No.
it too, so it wasn't coming from me.
no matter.
You guys continue
Music.
throughout the forest, and making your way between the trees and progressing further and further, a couple of hours go by until eventually Calgar turns towards you all and gives you a knowing look. The quarry must be in sight, and sure enough, past the tree line off in the distance, you see that there must be some light from past there. You can sort of see the difference between where the tree cover is up above and where it's just open sky. And you guys saddle up closer towards it, and hovering low along with you guys, the Eye of Tyrannus, kind of looks up at the thing, and you guys see this massive fortress up on the hill. Now, described to you, it looks like what you've been told, but seeing this star-shaped fortress on top of the hill, it looks massive. Each one of the star protrusions must be like 100 feet long, and maybe as close as 60 feet up, so that the thing is incredibly tall. And there are even taller buildings, it seems, that manage to poke out from within its circle, where they must be clustered around.
Quite the structure.
On top, you can see what looks like distant flecks of light, and you know that those must be people with torches kind of patrolling up and down on the different parts of the wall.
How tall does a wall say?
60 feet.
60?
I'd love to go get a better look, but just know they're gonna have some type of magical detections.
I wouldn't step out from beyond these trees if I were you.
Nope, I didn't want to either.
If you look closely, you can see up on there. There's always patrols moving about. I bet they must be watching the tree line at all times.
Problem is, we have to step out of the trees eventually if we're gonna solve this problem.
Right. How far is it from here on the edge of the tree line to the wall, like the base of the wall?
Sure. It looks like it's about 300 to 400 feet from here to the base of the wall.
It's a long run across an open and uphill field.
What's the field made of? It's like all tall grass. We could just like light it all on fire or something.
It looks like it's just like, low grass that you would see anywhere.
Needs to be some way to overwhelm their senses. If only a few people are coming out of the forest, it's too easy.
Sort of diversion.
If we have it look like an army is coming, or if they can't see any of the field. Just thinking of lighting it on fire. I don't know.
Right,
What
so
kind
are these? Is this tree line extending like in a circle around the hill, or is there
Yes.
something else, other terrain? Okay,
Yeah, there's
so
a
this is
circle around it.
Big
So
clearing.
it's a forest around a clearing around this thing.
I might have missed this earlier, but how tall are the walls?
60.
60 feet. Now, there's another thing that you guys notice, which is that from here, there is a large beam of light, and it's ghastly light. It's not like blind or anything. It's very, very dull. That seems to come up in a huge pillar from the center of the fortress and goes straight up towards the sky. And it seems
No
to
one
meet
mentioned
at
that.
like some sort of. You can almost see it tracing its way up towards like a distant star up in the sky.
I think that looks like a ritual to me.
Oh, great.
I guess we know where I guess we know where the center is. Follow the beam of light. At
Hopefully,
least
that's
that'll
not
be.
dangerous for you to fly near. If it zaps you with magic just by being near it, that could
Oh,
put a
like
hamper
that
to
tower?
your flying plans.
I don't know how we're gonna find that out unless we let it happen.
It's the D&D
Do you
chemo
think-
laser.
Well, if anyone was gonna fly into that, I think I'm the one.
That still might be the best way. I can cast this on, well, up to 3 people.
You can allow 3 others other than yourself to fly.
Well, it would be... That's without me included.
Okay.
I can bring someone about 500 feet with me. But not fly, definitely not fly.
I'd have to
Well-
concentrate. We could get some of you over and then fly the rest.
Hold on.
And I could go with
Illyria?
the second batch.
If you're able to take us 500 feet from here, you can deposit us inside the wall.
One of you and one stay with my cape.
Right, you and I could go with the cape, no?
Right. You and I
And
could
then-
go.
The 3 others would be able to fly.
Perfect. But
I can give 2 people the ability to fly.
That might be the way to get in, if we can all insert together in the air. Tyrannus can fly on his own. Even with it, I mean, the diversion's still something we should do, but running across this field and then attempting to climb that wall doesn't seem like the natural plan. The only other thing we can do while we're out here scouting is to look for an underground passage.
Is there? Perhaps there would be some way to lure them in first.
You mean like someone goes down there and runs towards the forest?
That's, the easiest way to look at it, but they wouldn't fall for that. It would have to be an actual threat that we have in the forest that they would,
You could
like
create
if
something
we had
minor.
BP just sitting in the forest firing
He's
upon this
terrifying.
thing, like they would have to come address that.
I've heard of magic that creates a large illusion. If not, we could Is there a way for you to make like glowing seals here, like some sort of artillery magic? Even if it isn't real, it could potentially alert them to us.
Mine wouldn't last long enough.
I deal in war, not illusions, sadly.
Calgar nods.
You said it wouldn't last long enough, but if we're standing here to make the illusion, and then when they actually approach, if you were to use your cape to escape with, wouldn't that be a possibility? Because you can continually refresh your illusion.
Right, I could do that.
You could use that as a diversion on top, trying to draw as many of them out of the fortress as possible.
Tabletop, I'm talking about minor illusion. And I
Right,
don't think it would be that big, yeah.
5 feet, but can make it seem like it's something dangerous, or as dangerous as possible.
Yeah.
5 feet of danger.
That's a giant
Make
cannon.
it look like a 5-foot glowing portal.
We'll have
Problem is that there
Illyria
has
do.
to actually be some threat, or they're gonna see right through it. And
She could have her do some theatrics, like she's casting a very large spell.
but would they believe such a thing?
Well, it could be a
Yeah.
spell I know.
These are not fools we're going up against. They know the limits of magic.
Yeah.
We need an actual threat.
Only one of you had that ability that catapulted object a very large distance.
Wait, what ability is this?
It's called catapult.
It's literally called catapult.
Cyrus,
first
don't you
level.
do something where you create objects? You
Oh,
create
sorcerers can have it. Oh my god.
weapons? Can you create catapults? I mean, if we surrounded this thing with catapults, obviously that would be good.
You want him to make catapults?
I would need
That's gonna
somebody
take him a
standing by
long
to
time.
teach me how to do it. And a supply of felled trees.
Well, we definitely have trees.
Definitely trees.
My knowledge of fulcrums and physics is lacking in this world. Someone else very intelligent. Aren't you a
Sorry,
war mage?
Cyrus.
Shouldn't you be the one that knows the most about siege weapons?
No, but the spell fabricate requires you to have the tool proficiency to make something.
Yeah, someone here's gonna need proficiency in carpentry. But
Oh,
you could do
it's
that
like-
if somebody did.
We
I'm
have one of
proficient
the
in
most
jeweler's
knowledgeable
tools.
beings in all of the world.
Tyrannus, are you familiar with carpentry?
When you look
Eyeball?
over, you notice that the eye is like resting on the ground and is completely darkened over.
Oh my
And
god,
then-
he's napping.
Like a blink, it like kind of opens up and looks over and says, "What?"
So fucking bored of us.
Well, we're trying to think of a plan to assault
That's
this
fair
thing,
enough.
and if this forest was lined with catapults in a circle, that could be something to distract or damage the building instead of just running at it. Cyrus can create such things if he has a guide, and we know your vast knowledge of everything. Would you be able to guide him in such a thing?
It's been a few millennia since I've worked in such things. The human crafts are beneath me.
Oh.
What about a dragon trebuchet then?
Well, if only we had a giant. Was it a ballista?
The eye
Didn't
falls
you say
back
there
to
were-
the ground.
Didn't you say there were people from the capital here?
Potentially
yeah,
someone
the
back
capital
at camp knows.
Right, we might be able to convince one of them.
Oh, let me do it. I'm great with charm.
Now the other
I'll go
issue
Eric
is
Calgor.
Yeah, he looks away further into the distance.
at most I can make perhaps 3 trebuchets per day.
That's plenty. I was thinking one for each point on the star over there, so 2 days of work.
will we be able to make these and move them? You
Well,
put
we
them on
make
wheels.
them right here.
Oh.
Let's just hope they don't notice a patch of trees missing.
Well, if they, our goal is to get them away. So if they come out here, that's good. That's what we want.
I assume this is taking all of Cyrus's magical energies, though. You may want to rest in between making them per day. But if they do move out a large forest, then I suppose that's enough for us to move in.
We'll have to be sure about this. The moment that we start attacking with trebuchets, you can bet they're going to search the forest a lot more thoroughly.
Well, I'll stay with Cyrus and I can take him away from here if he gets
Our
back.
goal is to just lure them out, and that's when we move in. We just needed something to get them out, and if the trebuchets do that, then we've accomplished the goal.
It might work.
We could. It's those people at the camp, the knights and such. I don't think they're actually attacking with us. They could certainly man the trebuchets.
Right, we'll just have to inform them that that's what we're going to do. That we are going to enter the fortress and attack it in such a manner. Calgar brings up a good point that they will search the forest. The camp will most likely be found, if that came to that.
Up to this point, we don't think they're aware that we're here.
It might be better to fabricate these things off-site and roll them here.
I
Probably.
think it might be too loud if you roll them here.
By that, it'll be too late. We just get them here and start going. They're not gonna have time to react.
Even
Okay.
if they notice their approach, it'll still draw them out, which is
Yeah.
the only.
The plan is just to draw them out, not destroy whatever they're doing with the trebuchets.
And I mean, if they completely ignore it, then we will attack the walls and try to create holes,
Yeah.
places of entry.
Now, while you guys are chit-chatting, you notice something, which is that what appears to be a flock of demon-winged humanoids take flight off of one of the arms of the fortress and start flying up above the tree line. They're not going in your direction at all, but you watch them departure.
That's gonna be a problem.
That seems like how they scout, but they do have flying demons.
Does this change anything?
Yeah, I don't see how this really changes much.
Yep.
I think
Just hope they don't scout over the camp, that's all.
Well, for those who are flying, they will have to be separate from the catapults to try to avoid the swarm
well,
flyer.
this plan sort of negates the need to fly.
Why does it negate the need to fly?
Because they'll be too busy running for the catapult while we go in.
If they're attacking the catapults, then we still need to get behind them into the fort.
Well,
Which
it's a
is
quick,
still-
it's a quick, 30-second fly over there.
Right, isn't that what we're doing? We're flying in.
Sure, but I don't think the things in the air will be too much of an issue. They'll have to react very quickly. And we can
Wait,
definitely fight them.
Hold on, I thought that's what we said. You just said we don't need to fly anymore.
Well, I'm not going to be in the air for like 30 minutes
Oh.
firing upon them.
No, that's. I was just saying we don't want everybody who's gonna fly in to be near the catapult when they come to attack.
Don't plan on being just besides the few knights manning it.
That's a good a plan of any.
Should we report back and pitch it to the others?
If they'll listen, yeah.
They don't have a plan. I feel like they're going to like it.
Incoming Nat 1 persuasion.
Well, we could also try to ask what plans they might have. Maybe theirs is better than ours, but at the very least, we have a plan now. And at least a look at the layout. We should retreat before we're spotted standing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, let's go.
You guys turn around. Some valuable information picked up after a close-up view of the thing. You make your way back, and you eventually get to the camp without being attacked by whatever strange thing that was making its way through the forest. Above you, there are no flying demons, and you get safely into the tents once more. Where are you going? What tent do you go to? It's late at night when you return.
I think those knights probably know or are comfortable with firing catapults. They might like that plan.
We should definitely try and get in touch with the knights and the capital people, but
We might want to just gather everybody.
I think we should wait till morning.
Sure.
I'm also
Yes.
curious what they're doing every day. They must be doing their own scouting.
We'll ask them tomorrow. Maybe we can gather a sort of faction leader from each tent.
If not a leader, at least a representative from each
Yeah.
camp.
Indeed.
Okay. Are you guys going to sleep it off and then try and call a town meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the plan. Oh, during our walk illusion, did I notice if there's any like large rocks or boulders or anything?
Yeah, you see some every now and then.
Okay, so there is something we could fire out of the catapult.
Yeah, for sure. You'd probably have to send people on a mission to collect them, but yeah.
You could always fabricate some things too.
Yeah, if we wanted to spend another day.
You could fabricate
All we have is time
like,
right
custom
now.
ammo.
Giant dicks.
Just send huge stone
Giant.
discs.
A bag of dongs.
Each rock
Giant
says
stone
fuck one of the color group. Fuck Celestine, fuck Black River.
Custom messages.
Hey, Black
Oh.
River did nothing wrong. He's just a horse now, okay?
Hey Jimmy, do you have any emerald dust?
Emerald
Ooh,
dust?
That's why I need to keep that
Remember
50
the-
gold emerald.
Magic mouth. Just magic mouth a bunch of random things onto stuff.
You had emerald dust for something else. I don't remember what it was.
Just try-
Trent
though.
did.
Yeah, if I was gonna use Magic Mouth, I would have to copy it down and I'd have to get more ink.
Ink. We'd have to go.
Fresh out of
Well,
ink,
some
boys.
You know,
Some
this
more
plan really only gets us in. Then there's still probably
What to
all
do
of
when we
the
get in.
people inside we're gonna have to deal with.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
just taking care of some of the foot soldiers.
I mean, idealistically, we're making for the base of that beam of light in the middle of the fortress.
Yeah.
So,
This should
it's the
be
next
good.
day, and you guys have gotten a long rest. And when you decide to kind of get up here and whatnot, you guys are feeling much better, especially you, Cyrus, since you've slept. And it's up to all of you guys to decide how you want to go about this. Now, Tyrannus seems to be asleep here and lays at the bottom of the tent, but Calgar is up.
So
Oh,
if we
God.
all like that plan, I think we should go around each tent and ask to hold a little meeting of sorts to pitch our idea or see what ideas they have.
Oh boy, who do I get to talk to?
Sure.
We could all go together.
Are you going to be like this
Illyria.
for the whole thing, Illyria?
What?
What are you talking about, Kagar? I didn't say anything to you.
Every time you look at me, it's like you're plotting to throw me to the wolves.
I'm not going to
just
throw
how
you to the
That's
wolves.
just how she looks.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you, Martin.
I wish she would look at me like that.
No, never.
All right,
Well,
you
if-
lovebird.
If you want me to just go, I'll ask the people, but
I'll speak with the Inquisition. I think Calgar
Let's
and I
talk to the
probably have some
knight.
pull there.
Calgar casts message to you, Cyrus, and he says, "Be careful with that one."
Do I get to respond to message?
Yep.
You have like
I,
6 seconds to reply.
I respond like, I want out.
He messages you again. He says, "Good idea, brother."
I'll just let it fade.
It's just two guys at a table texting while a girl's standing in between.
I think Calgar and I probably have some pull with the Inquisition. Maybe, Lyra, I was actually thinking you might be better to speak with the people of the capital. Being a jeweler, you probably deal with more nobility if there's any there.
Oh boy. Okay.
Is
I'll
it
talk
cool? Perhaps you could check on the knights. I
Yeah.
forget all the other groups that are here.
I'll accompany Illyria. I think Merton and Max, you two made a friend or so yesterday with the cloaked one.
So there's
Perhaps
the-
you can ask them again.
There's the
Friends.
Inquisition, The knights in the robes in black.
Yeah, well,
Oh, there's
the
no
robes in
people
black,
in
they at
council?
least talk to me. That's
Oh, we'll talk to the
Alright.
knights.
Okay,
we'll go
so you
over
guys
there.
split up. Let's see. Who wants to go first with their diplomatic attempt?
Ooh, me.
Okay, Illyria, you make your way up towards the camp. There's a man there standing outside. He's got half his armor on, so like his legs are covered in the plate. And he's just got a tunic on otherwise, and he's eating a piece of bread and just staring at a scroll. And he kind of like looks over as you approach. And he says, "Ah, morning, madam."
Morning.
Do you
Morning,
think we could
sir.
talk?
Certainly.
Who's leading you?
Who's leading us?
Would that be you?
We're free knights, ma'am. We're all leaders.
Perfect.
We just finished scouting the fortress yesterday and had a tentative plan, but wanted to maybe exchange notes or tactics, but or at least information about how we're approaching this. Is there anyone who could speak for your group, or would like to at least listen as for the group, maybe pass along what they discuss with us?
Excuse me a minute.
Sure.
He gets up and heads into the tent. You guys hear murmuring.
Oh God, not murmuring.
Oh
Anything
no,
but
the
murmuring.
murmurs.
Whispers.
Eventually he emerges, and he says, well, I'm not sure how much we can compare notes, but if there's a plan that's happening, I wouldn't mind being there.
Perfect.
Good.
We will.
I'll get dressed.
Okay.
What do they
Kinda,
call
like,
you,
trudges
sir?
off.
What do they call you, half-naked night man who trudged off?
He says, they call me Sir Bondax.
So Bob next.
Oh.
Woo! Nice job, Zakul. That was quick.
Well, having him actually partake in the plan would be another step. At that point, I'll expect you to turn your charms up. For now, he's just there to listen.
Now, who's next?
Best charmer.
We'll go. Calgar and I.
Sure. The Inquisition again.
I know, right?
Well, at least this time I think that they're forced to be on our side.
That remains to be seen.
He
It
walks
seems
up
like
and
each
gives
of
a
these
wave.
groups are. Before he gets there, can I?
Mhm.
It seems like these groups are all here to join up with a specific set of great souls, and well, I know one of them has betrayed us in the past, so
Really? He stops before he gets to the tent and he says, do you think one of them's gonna turn this all around? We may want to warn the other groups if that's the case.
I don't think that they had any malicious intent, but I think that they were swayed by one of the enemy. It should be something we. I know for a fact that our communications with the other groups were compromised, and I think we should take what we can from these other groups, but not rely on any of them if we can avoid it.
I understand. Keep them at arm's length if we can. We might want to be careful about what we mention then. If we're holding this meeting, they could hear.
Yeah, I hope that we have a chance to talk as a group before we hold the meeting. But any assistance we can get, especially in creating these catapults, will be monumental. Yeah, assault.
Personally, if I had to guess, I think I know which group here I would trust the least.
Does he look at any?
Profiling.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
he
because
looks
they're
at the
wearing
black
black.
ones.
He looks over where Martin and Max are walking.
But for real, he looks at the guys in the black robes.
Do they have a name? Or are they just cloaked men?
No, they just kind of let us call them whatever we do.
Oh, thanks.
The boys.
I almost said it.
I haven't spoken with them personally, but I've heard from Inquisition members over dinner time that they've spoken with them, and it's clear that they're on the same side, looking to get into the fortress and everything.
Just to get in.
Yeah, it seems like it. They might be the ones working with that group.
So many ulterior motives at work here.
Yes. If it were me, I would just blow up the whole hill if I could.
Where's a good earthquake when you need one?
He nods and he says, yeah. Well, shall we?
I nod.
He walks up and kind of waves at the Inquisition member, and he stands up at the front of the tent here and he says, Wizards, what can I do for you?
Well, we went on a bit of a scouting mission yesterday. Went up and got a first-hand view of the fortress and some of the creatures at the fortress's disposal.
Did you learn anything new?
Well, we hadn't been told about the glowing beam of light coming out of it.
Yes, the ritual, I believe, or some strange energy.
We did hatch a preliminary plan, though it would require some assistance, and we've decided to try and bring a representative from each of the groups here to at least hear what our group is planning on doing. And if there's anything you wish to contribute or share with us, then we'll gladly hear it, but don't feel obligated to share anything. If you care to listen in, we'd love to have someone from your group.
Let me pass that on.
I nod.
He kind of disappears into the tent for a bit, and eventually he pops back out and he says, okay, one of us will join you for the meeting.
Very well. I'll tell him where the meeting is, wherever we had decided, and
Sure.
then head off.
And meanwhile, who's going to the other group?
Martin Max.
Okay. The two of you make your way over.
Morning. Signal man.
Can you roll luck, please?
No, it's not a good one. Fuck it. 11?
When you get over there, another one of these robed figures is standing outside. He looks over and gives you a bow, and then he says, yes.
Right, the bow. I'll bow back. My group and I are looking for a representative from each faction here to hold a discussion about the plans. We surveyed the area of attack yesterday and came up with what we think is a pretty solid plan. If your group has a plan, or if you want to hear ours, we would like to have you there for talks. Are you interested?
He gives you a brief gesture there to wait, and then turns around and disappears into one of the tents. And you guys hear what sounds like some chatter that goes on for a brief moment. And then eventually he steps back out and he says, we'll send somebody.
Good. Should be happening whenever everyone gets there, so see you soon.
He gives you a bow and turns away.
I'll bow.
Okay.
Go back. Alright, we got our guy next.
We regroup, hopefully with people in.
Did everyone get somebody?
Yep.
The Inquisition will be here. Now, before everyone arrives, I was talking with Calgar here, and weren't one of the groups compromised? Are we sure we can trust everyone here?
You mean the group that said Celeste? You can trust Celestine?
Do you think that would have been overlooked by Tyrannus?
Maybe we should talk to Tyrannus.
I mean, I
I
wasn't
think
even under the impression that Tyrannus had summoned everyone here. I thought these people all came of their own volition.
right. But even beyond that, if they all came here and they're hiding
How did
out
they
in the
hear
woods-
about it?
I asked it earlier, but I
Maybe
was
that
trying
can
to
be one
point
of the
out.
first questions we ask.
I'm trying to point out that if they're all hiding here in the woods together, then and Celestine was on their side, wouldn't they just tell them that this camp is here and squish it?
Unless
Snuff
they're
it,
planning
snuff
for
them
it
out?
too.
Do you
Right
think
now,
Celestine has defected?
Who knows? They could be waiting for all the Great Souls to be here before they kill all of us.
Yeah, if only one group of Great Souls is here, there's no sense in stopping it out now. If I had eyes and ears inside their fortress, I would wait until everyone's been assembled before acting on any information.
That would be an overwhelming amount of confidence.
I'm not saying we need to necessarily lie or hide anything during this meeting, but I do think we should be careful who we trust.
Is there anything you want to obfuscate then from this planning or meeting?
While you guys are
Maybe
having
we-
your group huddle, you hear what sounds like chatter from nearby, and you realize that one of the knights is currently having a conversation with what looks to be a member of the Inquisition, and they're sort of standing near that group bonfire at the center of the area.
Is that Sir Bondak?
It looks like it's him, yeah. He's kind of changed out of his armor into some dress wear, but he's there speaking with that
Whoa,
Inquisition member.
he got fancy.
He was
I'll
literally
whisper.
half his gear earlier.
I'll whisper to Zakul and the rest of the group, anybody who can hear me whispering. I'll say, perhaps we keep it hidden that trebuchets are not our sole goal here. Maybe we don't let it known that we're intending on pulling people out.
But we need to
Okay.
tell them that we need them to man them.
Yes. And we also need to tell them that we need them to help me build them.
Right. Yeah, we don't have to tell them about us going in.
Well, wouldn't they assume we're going in? We're just not saying that the goal is to just pull them out, right?
We can tell them that we need someone to help me create them and someone who knows how to fire them, and then say that we will be standing by to defend them.
And then we just don't.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
The Monday switcheroo.
I'm not saying we have to necessarily abandon them or anything.
No, I'm sure they can hold their own.
But it would be a
That's
lot
the best I could come up with this quickly.
I think that is a way to make enemies, if even if they were not.
Ugh, we're never in the business of making friends anyway, guys.
Right,
I think
but
they should
allies
probably
on
know.
the battlefield should at least be told to retreat if we're not planning to support them there at all.
We can let them know that.
We'll have plenty of time for them to run once
Yeah.
we decide to head in.
Once they realize we're not there. Guys?
Hello?
I thought you had our back.
Sorry, we're farming jungle.
I don't know if we want to do that.
I mean, if you think we can trust them with the full plan, then let's go ahead and give it to them. I just wanted to play devil's advocate, so to speak.
Should probably
mean,
think of something you
at
can
We
this
may
point-
as well.
Yeah, at this point, if we can't trust them, then all is already lost. We have
Yeah.
to at least have that much faith.
Sort of with that mindset too.
That's a little dire, don't you think?
I mean, shit's looking dire, Lucian.
Well, that's what Calgar says to you.
Calgar.
Oh, okay.
Looking dire.
Shit's
Calgar.
looking dire, Calgar.
Just looking pretty dire. Calgar.
Well, when well, it looks like 2 of them are coming at least.
When you look back over at the group, you realize a third person's there. Must be from the other
there he
group.
is.
I'm gonna make my way over.
Let's
Sure.
start the meeting then.
Okay. You guys go to join the 3, and they come over to you and exchange a few words, and you immediately recognize a couple of them. Sir Bondax is clearly the one that you guys had spoken with a moment ago, though this is kind of like the first time he's meeting the rest of the group, and he comes up and offers a sturdy handshake to all of you. He's a
Forearm grab.
Yeah, exactly. He's a tall beast of a man here, and it's obvious that he spends most of his time lugging around very heavy armor. And he seems pretty cheery to see you all, and he goes, well met, well met. Same to you.
Is he a 10?
Is he
Well,
low?
that's-
Roll a
Larry.
d10.
No,
Luria,
no,
turn
I was
the
kidding.
charm on.
I was
Gotta
kidding.
turn
Okay.
the charm on.
Alright. Well, if
Please.
it looks like a foot, I
Please.
don't know what's gonna happen.
Hope he's ugly as fuck.
I mean, he's a really beefy guy,
Okay,
Oh,
he's a 2.
but his face is all fucked up.
He may have been handsome at one point, but now he's like...
Beaten.
He's clearly taken a few blows to the face, and restorative magic is only so advanced these days, so...
Mhm. Yeah, can't
Yeah.
plastic surgery that one.
One of his eyes is like kind of permanently sealed shut there, and there's scars
Oh,
all over his
shit.
face and stuff, and he's got that
wait.
thing where like the beard has to pause because there's like a huge scar running through it, sort of thing,
Jesus
and
Christ. I have the badass flex dog scar.
a portion of his eyebrow's been burned off. It's clear this guy has 1,000 stories, but yeah, he's paid for it. And the others there, you recognize the Inquisition member as one of the scouts in front of the tent, who you guys had spoken to. He had ran up to you guys before you left and made sure that you guys were coming back. And he introduced himself as McArgan. And he says, Argan's fine, and I'm just going to be listening in for the rest of the Inquisition. None of the higher-ups seem to want to come out at this moment.
Jimmy.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us, sir. What you said, Targan?
McCargan.
Argan.
Argan.
And the last one there is wearing what looks to be a nice, sort of like, it's like a black tuxedo of sorts, which is very reminiscent of the clothing that Trent used to wear. In fact, you have to kind of blink for a second because it looks like you might have bought this from the same spot. And he's a slightly shorter man, maybe about like, 5'5", 5'6", and has slightly pointed ears, and he extends a handshake to all of you guys.
I will look super sad once he sees you.
He seems really cheery to meet you
Oh,
guys.
fuck.
And he goes up to you first, Cyrus, as you're kind of closest, and he goes, "Ah, it's a pleasure to meet you."
And you as well, sir. Name's Cyrus.
Jem, it's good to meet you, and you as well, and you. And he kind of goes,
J-E-M or G-E-M?
It's fucking Gem.
That's a beautiful
His
name!
name is Jen.
I know who Gem is.
The shorter,
G-E-M.
half-elf man named Jen.
he says, "Well,
Um,
should we sit and talk for a bit?"
Of course.
That is the goal of this.
He leads you guys off, and soon you're all seated down by the campfire.
All right. Well, does one of us want to say the whole thing?
Got it.
Well, I guess I'll start.
Wait, I'm
I mean,
super
it
charismatic.
was my
Let me do
plan
it.
after all.
Let me do No, kidding. Not it.
We just need you to charm Sir Bondak, so
Yeah, but he looks like a
He's-
foot.
willing to give
Looks
some
like
people.
a
Yeah,
foot.
exactly. That's why you need to
Well-
charm her.
Alright, fine. I'll charm him later.
You got a cat
Away
mission,
from
so
him.
you can
Away
get
from
them
him.
to catapult.
Basically, gentlemen, we need to attack this fortress. Now, we went on a scouting mission yesterday to see it, and I don't know how many of you have been there, if any. I don't know if you have plans. If so, feel free to disagree with this one, but assuming no one's been there, assuming no one has plans, basically a fortress surrounded by a field, surrounded by a forest. They have a lot of men on top of the fortress with ballista and such, ready to fire. And so our plan was to make some kind of catapults in the forest so that they get distracted, because we need to pull them away, because if we just charge through the field, we're not going to make it. We need to pull some of the forces to the forest, and after that we send a party in to the fortress, which would be us, but we need men to man the catapults basically.
And then retreat if things get dangerous.
We're not asking anyone to fight.
Wait, I need to sit next to Sir Bond, whatever the fuck his name is.
Bondax puts up a hand and he says, "There may be a problem. The siege weaponry can, likely reach all the way to the tree line."
I thought he was putting up his hand to like block Illyria, like don't get near me.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, siege weaponry. What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Be gone!
Well, the beauty of whatever we make is that we'll have the natural advantage of the forest, obscuring vision, and hopefully we start firing first. We're gonna, do it secretly, and if we can destroy their walls, then that would be the goal. And if any of you have other plans, this obviously is not set in stone. This is just the first talks and first ideas we're having that need to happen.
Some siege weaponry could be quite useful, but I don't see any catapults by your tent.
No, we can
that's
make
what
those.
we have Cyrus here for.
I can pump out about, catapult every 10 minutes, up to 3 of them a day. But
impressive, right?
problem is I'm gonna need somebody with carpentry skill, someone who's seen a catapult and trebuchet before.
Roll luck,
Guide me
please.
through it. Oh boy!
I
Persuasion.
know just the guy. The master carpenter right here. Oh God!
Fuck! Look! Come on.
Back in that one luck roll tonight.
Well, Sir Bondax kind of shrugs his shoulders, looks at the rest, and he says, I don't think there's anybody in my tent that would have that expertise. And the others kind of do the same thing. They kind of look at each other, and everybody comes up empty. I'm sorry, Cyrus. Don't think we have the kind of aid you're looking for.
Now, I have a question, Aleutian. This might be a really long shot.
Mm-hmm.
Really long.
That's okay. Long shots are good sometimes.
When I was in school,
Mm-hmm.
would I have known a professor who loves this kind of shit? Like making catapults and shooting it at people.
Would you know somebody who would...
Like there's like a... What the fuck is that?
What about
kind of creature
artillery
called?
magic?
There you go. Thank you. Would it be magic?
Would you randomly know somebody who knows a thing
like
about
a professor.
engineering?
I mean, at school, we could have heard of the professors, yeah.
Yeah, you could make a luck roll.
Oh, fuck. Okay. It's an 8.
Okay. I would say you remember having, like, an engineering professor, but you've long since forgotten exactly who it was.
Maybe Calgar will remember. I'll ask him later.
Now, if anyone knows someone skilled in such a manner, I can contact them, and I'm sure Tyrannus can bring them here.
I'll start pointing to Calgar in front. I was like, maybe.
Calgar gives you a confused look, and then
we'll
Jem
talk
continues, and he says, well, they'd have to be trusted if we're bringing them here.
Yes.
We also have the ability to attack them from above to create some sort of diversion. Is there anything similar, some sort of magic or diversion you guys would be able to do from relative safety?
The few kind of look at one another, and Argon speaks up and he says, well, there's a good deal of casters in my tent. I'm sure that we could draw some attention that way.
Right. I was thinking something flashy and just to grab their attention from the opposite side. Even if you can't draw them out, perhaps just diverting their attention will be enough. And then you retreat soundly and tactically back into the woods and disappear.
Perhaps it would be best if you all waited for some time. We may be able to accomplish this without so much of fanfare that a distraction would bring.
Is this a joint effort from this coalition, or do each of you have your own individual plan? Machinations for how you're dealing with this fortress?
Three kind of look at one another and then turn back and say, well, we plan to go our own ways, but we can certainly work in concert to some degree. And Jem continues and he says, I plan to get in unseen. Maybe it would be useful for you to hold off on this, or at least perform the distraction at a given time, so that we might get in during that.
What's the current month then? How much time do we have?
You're informed that it is early in the summer. It's the 6th.
6th of summer. How long do you think we have to wait?
Well, that really depends on when the other great souls arrive, and there's no telling when that will be.
Would you be willing to tell them about our plans then? And if they need us to use it as a distraction, they need to give us a date. And we don't want to wait until the final hours. The longer we wait, the more prepared they're going to be.
I can certainly pass along any plans you may have. My ears are always open.
With the lack of catapults, our current plan is almost a frontal assault once we're inside, which is not ideal. So,
Inadvisable.
correct. We have a couple of things we offer to the table if they have their own plan. Perhaps we could use this place as somewhere to share the information, make the plans coincide. Hopefully even attack simultaneously, like you said.
Well, being great souls and all, it'll be tough to have you all go at the same time.
Right.
Bondax
Well,
looks over
within
at
it-
you, Illyria.
I'm gonna look at him back like what?
Aren't you like sitting on his lap?
Wait, what?
Aren't you like basically sitting on his lap? You're like right next to him.
Yes.
Like squeeze yourself in.
Yes.
He looks away.
What did you? Wait, where did you look at me? I was not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
He just turned and looked at you, like expecting you to say something.
Oh yeah, I never have anything to say, guys.
Well, Bondex now knows that.
The group kind of looks at one another. Argon speaks up and he says, well, do we have any other plans?
That was the first one. I'll have to think of more. Luckily, we have time.
Right.
We could see to it about getting a carpenter. I'm sure we could cast sending and have somebody trusted here. The tower has resources.
If they bring someone, have them meet up with our friend Cyrus here. Could at least produce catapults, siege weaponry out here in the base. Be able to have it on standby. I mean, if we're laying siege to a walled fortress, even if you don't end up using it, it could always be used as a diversion. Using them to break down the walls is what I meant.
We are also aware that the opposing forces we're up against are not exactly on the same page. It would be easy to have them turn against each other. If that brings any ideas to any of your heads, that is a possibility. They're all in it for their own reasons.
Jem continues and he says, and what makes you say that?
Well, for sources that I don't know if we're allowed to give, we were told.
Oh, come now.
Well,
we're
we were
all in
told
this
by-
together, aren't we?
We were told by one of them that they are not all together.
Ah.
We were contacted and brought to one of their, what would you guys call it? Some type of underground base?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we want to tell them about the key to
Shake
stopping
my
the
head.
ritual that we have. I
Wait,
look
they're all
at everyone, and not just the cool, but just throwing that on the table.
Well, you
We were
might
given
as
an
well.
item.
I mean, we're all here now, aren't we?
Wait, I'm gonna look at Merton and Malcolm. What?
It's
A
not
large
literally.
sword on my back. Hilarious.
Oh! Yeah, I was gone for that. When did you get that?
This was handed to me by one of the betrayers, basically. And
Oh,
he
boy.
sent it to us that this... Well, he called himself the host, and I shared this with the other three here. Even Calgar, I guess.
Oh.
If we're able
Cool.
to cast this into the ritual, this sword is supposed to stop it. And if we are to believe that information, then that could be our victory, even if it is a pirate one for the rest. The world could be.
A useful tool up against such a thing.
We believe the ritual should be at the base of that beam of our pillar of light. If we can get the sword there, then that's a small team will be able to do that. As long as you can get in.
Is that the plan, then? To use the sword at the end?
Well, at least to break the ritual. If we can walk away alive, then obviously that is the goal. But stopping the ritual probably is worth more than my life. I've fulfilled my purpose at that point. Although I still look forward to living till I die of old age, of course.
Yeah, it's a cool. You need to settle down. That's all this really shiny glow you got about you.
Now, you all have been here longer than we have. What,
Three not.
what have you been passing the days by doing?
Training exercises.
Oh god.
Something we were wondering,
Oh no.
who all brought you together? How did you come across this location?
The three kind of look at one another.
Was it an eyeball?
We were under the assumption we were alone in this war until we were brought here.
Argon turns to Fesu and says, the Inquisition has known about this ritual for some time. But
It's just strange to me that you're all in the same place, yet working separate. Something must have brought you together.
well, we had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition had fallen. We had set up this base after a lot of the Inquisition circumstance had made it available to us. The Inquisition has been looking for the location of the ritual for some time, and it took a while, but eventually the portal opened up, and once we got here, some of the others began to show.
Guys, should we ask about Gola?
I'll like try to whisper towards Merton.
You're not whispering. Everybody can hear you.
It's across the fire.
Merton, should we ask about Gola?
Ask what? That's just another enemy
they
that
seen
we'll
him?
have to defeat.
By the way, guys, totally not linked them anymore. The cool priest friend did wonders.
Another demon among many demons.
Yeah, but this one's definitely gonna eat me or Nex.
Well,
There's
No
no
offense to
shortage of
Nex,
demons.
What?
right. Even on the walls, I think we saw lights that probably was a demon.
No, it's just this one I don't want to run into, please.
Is one
There's
of
no
these
need to
demons
fear
a
a
big
demon
problem?
area.
Just one we have a past relationship with is all.
Yeah, we bonded together.
Your group consorts with demons, then.
No. It was an accident. It was truly an accident.
We've already severed the ties
Yeah.
using divine, the power of the divines.
It's not really important anymore.
No, I
Jem
just wanted
smiles
to know
and he
if they've
says,
seen him.
An undead consorting with demons. The rumors must be true, then.
What rumors might that be?
What rumors?
The nefarious nature of your people.
Undead or our group?
I think he was referring to undead table.
Well,
The
I
year is like
can't
9
say,
years
um,
lost.
yeah, undead are generally pretty bad. You know, gotta kill people to live. That's how it goes.
Oh,
He
really?
whispers something to Argon beside him.
Wait, who does?
Jem, who's next to you.
Well, while there's no secrets here, right, Mr. Jem? May as well say it.
Ah, well, surely there must be some secrets.
Well, apparently there wasn't for us when you said no secrets.
Indeed. But that was
Carefully.
before I knew you were conspiring with demons.
Wait, no, that was definitely an accident.
Conspiring with
We
demons?
never said we were conspiring with
No one said that.
He kind of
Said there
looks over
was-
at you, Illyria.
I'm kind of stupid, so it was definitely an accident.
Past relationship does not mean conspiring. He tried to kill us.
I
Oh, yeah,
can't
you
help
definitely
but
tried to eat the
feel
little
that
one
that's
over
putting
there.
it lightly. In any case, the plan seems to be set. I'll see to it that a carpenter is called in if my friends here from the Inquisition can't get one.
And you and the three of you don't know any more about the enemies that are within the fortress.
What exactly was your plan if we didn't show up?
To wait.
If you didn't, then we would see which group came next, and then form a plan with them.
Oh, cool.
Well, good to know. No planning on your own.
In any case, we'll hold another meeting later, and I'm sure we'll be
Right.
on much friendlier terms then.
If we're willing to share
Hopefully.
information about the leaders that are inside that fortress, can you confer with your leaders or leadership to see if they know anything of what those that hold rank, more about this lich or others of power that are in there?
Perhaps. And he kind of like looks over at the others, and Argon gives him like a nod, and Sir Bondax, kind of stands up and he says, "Of course, we'll tell you what we know."
Okay, well,
If any
suppose
of you need help getting in contact with people, I'm capable of using sending, so feel free to call upon me.
Okay.
do you want me to go through each of them right now at a time, or?
Ah. No, because before you speak, the time lapses, and we will end the session there.
Damn it! I was gonna try and persuade Calgar to do something.
She was waiting for her moment.
Yeah.
Like, you look like a foot.
Calgar,
That
not
gets me hot.
It's pretty hot, Mr. Footman.
Thanks, I get that a lot. Well, thanks for coming by, guys. Hope you enjoyed the sesh there, and we'll pick up in a couple of weeks. Christmas is coming around, and obviously you guys have stuff with your fams and all that, which is awesome. So I wish you happy holidays, and on, what is it, the 7th? We'll see you next.
Yep.
And depending on all the crazy stuff that's happened with the group, you guys will end your time lapse here coming back to perhaps a job well done, or a hot mess, or probably likely a combination of both. So we'll go from there.
The other parties still have a couple sessions, so we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Oh, it's gonna be torture going 3 weeks with no input. Just coming back to see what they do to us.
Everything's on fire. Oh my god!
You guys
No
come back
fucking
from this
camp,
time
it's, like,
lapse.
obliterated.
Everybody's dead.
No survivors. VP's head's just on
Calgar's
the
body
ground.
is, like in 3 parts.
Help me.
There's just the eyeball split in half in the middle. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's not good. Well, we'll catch you on the next one then. Adios.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
session.
Twitch. Thank you for
No
the
problem.
session.
No problem.
Just walk up to BP's like dead body and with a crowbar and start prying out the sovereign stone.
Yeah, you guys still have to decide what to shove that into.
Oh fuck, we should have done that at the end of the
Yeah,
session.
do you mind if we do that now since we have to wait for so long anyway?
Sure. Yeah.
I just want to know what it does.
I'm gonna kill stream, but if you guys want to, hang around afterwards here and decide what to do, then yeah, for sure. Peace, stream.